guys, welcome in. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Happy Monday. Thanks for being here with us. Oh, my goodness, do we have so much to get to today. You know, nobody does Indiana news and politics and government like us. And over the weekend, there were these dueling immigration events. And I'm watching all of this unfold, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, the left just can't stand freedom. Like, they can't. The left just can't stand freedom. So here's what went down. And part of the left's inability to stand freedom is they have to show you who they are. And when they show you who they are in a state like Indiana, they once again reinforce to many people why they can't vote for them. And I think that's the thing that upsets me the most about the left not getting their act together. They show you who they are. And in the process of showing regular people who they are, regular people are looking for something different. Regular people don't like how the Republicans are running our state. They'd love to vote for something else. But when the alternative is so extreme and so unacceptable, they say, I'll take the bad governance. And that's another example of what happened this weekend. So here's what went down. There is a group in Indiana called Save Heritage Indiana. And they are dedicated to, they're a newer group. They are dedicated to getting rid of illegal immigrants in the country. Getting people who are legally in the country out of the country. And one of the things that's fascinating to me is we have, for some reason, taken the position, or media has taken the position, and many in the country have bought into it, that for some reason, illegal immigration is okay as long as the person isn't a violent offender. Right? We hear this all the time. Well, I'm okay with getting rid of the violent offenders. I don't want the really bad people here. But the rest of them, they can stay. Why? It is the same. Either we have rules or we don't. Either we have laws or we don't. And as Donald Trump said in the first Republican presidential debate back in 2015, either we have a country or we don't. And if we have a country, countries have rules. Countries have laws. Countries have regulations. One of the dirty secrets is the left doesn't want us to have a country. They believe in the idea that you come and go as you please, that the United States is just an idea, and no immigration laws whatsoever. I mean, that Democrat socialist woman laid it out on Fox News last week. If we have a country, then we have standards. And if we have standards, that means there has to be rules and regulations around coming into this country and being a citizen of the country and being allowed to be in the country. I've never bought into the idea that, well, if you're a nonviolent offender, you can stay. And I don't think that makes me an extremist. I don't think that makes me a racist or an ist of anything or a phobe. I think that makes me common sense, which says if you just allow anybody to come in and you just allow anyone to stay, no matter how they came in, why would anybody ever come in the right way? If I'm allowed to get all of the benefits of legal immigration, of legally assimilating, but I do it on my own terms, why would I ever do it on your terms? It's the same argument I've had about this Max Engling donation, in which he accepts this Max Engling, Republican candidate for Secretary of State, accepts a brazenly illegal $60,000 contribution from a corporation. The limit is $5,000. I knew it. If I know it, then the guy who wants to oversee our elections, which is what the Secretary of State does, should have known it. But for some reason, he essentially claims ignorance about a group that he has clear affiliations, associations, and ties to. And then I didn't know what they were. I didn't know if I could accept the money. Well, you sure didn't give a damn when you gave him the wiring information. And there's a lot of people that are red no matter what, defend Republicans at all costs. They're like, it's not that big of a deal. But he got a donation that was 12 times the legal limit. 12, as in 1-2. If that's not a big deal, then why do we have any campaign finance laws? Well, he gave the money back. Did he? We have still yet to see any proof that he actually gave the money back when he said he did. But even if he gave the money back, then why are there any campaign finance laws whatsoever? If you can accept the money with the group that you have clear ties and affiliations to, and then keep it for 14 days, let it show up on your campaign finance report, which looks good to other donors, and then go, oh, oops. If there's no punishment, why would anybody ever follow the law? So I've never been one to believe that it makes you some sort of extremist if you say we have laws in this country. We have rules about coming into our country, and if you don't follow those rules, you got to go back. But yet in our society, if that's what you believe, you're an extremist. So that's what Save Heritage Indiana believes, at least what they've publicly espoused. No sympathy based on just because you weren't a violent offender while you were here. If you enter the country illegally, you have to go back to your country of origin. I don't think that in any way makes you an extremist. Yet they have been painted as this extremist group. They use words like mass deportation. Use whatever words you want. If you break the law, you have to be punished. Period. So this Save Heritage Indiana group decides they're going to have a private event on Saturday. And look, I think they handled this all wrong. I'll come back to that in a second. In terms of all wrong from a marketing standpoint, if we're trying to send a message standpoint, if you're trying to influence people standpoint, I don't think they handled it the right way. But that's irrelevant to this conversation. It's their group. They can do whatever they want. They can do whatever they want to do as long as they follow all applicable laws, which they did. So they decide, Save Heritage Indiana decides they're going to have this private event at an undisclosed location, and the featured speaker is going to be a guy by the name of Greg Bavino. Greg Bavino was the former head of the border. He was the head of Border Patrol, basically, for a period under Donald Trump. And he's their featured speaker. Now, the public doesn't know where this event's at. Save Heritage Indiana said we're not announcing it publicly because we don't want to be harassed. We don't want to be protested. We just want to have our event in peace. Okay, great. They charge $50 for people to attend, and you didn't essentially get to know until the day of where it was going to be. I think that's a horrible way to market yourself. But it doesn't matter what I think because it's not my event. And so they end up having the event in Greenfield. It's on a private property. It's in a tent. And the event ends up being live streamed. Somebody at the event, a supporter of the group, live streamed the event. And I watched most of it, not the whole thing, but I watched most of it. Not closely, doing other stuff, but I had it on and I was listening to the various speakers, etc. There was a video by the lieutenant governor. There was a video by the attorney general. And then there were a group of speakers about immigration and about immigration-related issues. And then Greg Bavino was the featured speaker. There's about 100 people there. And at that event, I didn't see anybody dressed up as a Klansman. I didn't see anybody with Nazi uniforms, armbands, tattoos. I didn't hear anything racist. It just seemed like a group of people that were focused on having standards to enter the country. A group of people that were focused on, if you enter the country illegally, you have to return. A group of people who were focused on who we're letting legally into the country, what we want that to look like as well. Now, one of the things that was interesting was Senator Jim Banks and the governor were both asked to make videos for this group. They declined. What reason? Don't know. They didn't give them. That's their right. But again, watching this event, whether you agree with them or not, whether you agree with their opinion on immigration or not, there was nothing out of the mainstream that went on at this event. People have meetings all the time about things I don't agree with. I don't go out and host a protest rally. I don't scream about it. I don't call them ists or phobes or this or that. I say, oh, you have a club. You have an event. Some people went. Good for you. Because that's the country we live in. Everybody was law-abiding. They followed all applicable regulations, zoning, whatever, right? Everybody picked up their trash when they left. It was a peaceful, law-abiding event that 100 people went to, and, it was streamed on the internet. I don't know how many people were watching. Didn't seem like a ton. It seems like the people who went had a good time. By the way, we're going to have Indy Reporter with us tomorrow. He was at the event, so we'll kind of get a play-by-play of exactly what went on and what this group hopes to accomplish and all the stuff. We're also going to talk about the IEDC. We're going to talk about there's a major issue with power going on now, obviously electricity, et cetera. A bunch of stuff to get into at the Indy Reporter tomorrow. The point is, there was nothing wrong with what these people did. They didn't harass anyone. They didn't bother anyone. They didn't cause violence on anyone. They didn't disrupt the community. It was a perfectly fine event. Unless you can't help yourself. Unless you hate the idea that these people even exist. And in that case, then you've got to do something. And one of the things that the left really miscalculates, and I'm not even sure they care, is that for the majority of people, especially in this state, where those people in that tent were for the Save Heritage group, they are far closer to the majority of people than the mass amnesty people. The majority of Hoosiers, I'm not saying they're 100% aligned with. Everybody's got to leave. I'm saying they're much more, we need immigration rules. We need immigration enforcement. We need people to enforce our rules and regulations. We need to know who's coming in and out of the country than the abolish ICE people. So if you're going to say which group more closely resonates with the views of the average Hoosier, the people in the tent. But the left can't help themselves. The left hates the idea of freedom of speech. Now, there's a wing of the Republican Party that's getting there too. Don't kid yourself. But the left finds out they're having this private event, and instead of saying to themselves, like rationally, because you have to think rationally through these things. Okay, they're having this event. They're charging people to go. We all know how hard it is to get people to go to anything, right? For free. But they're charging people to go. They're not telling anyone where it is. They're not broadcasting what's going to happen. Most people aren't going to pay to go to that. It's probably going to be an event of about 100 people, which it was. And it's not like the media can go. It's not like the media can cover it because it's a private event. They made that very clear. So the rational mind would say, let's just say you are the most pro-amnesty, no borders, abolish ICE. The logical mind, of course, that's not a logical mind, but let's say other than that, you had a logical mind, a rational mind. You would say to yourself, nobody's going to know about this event. Nobody's going to care. They're not going to change anybody's mind, certainly on the mass, because all the people that are going already agree with them. Why would I give them any attention at all? Why would I even acknowledge they exist? But the left doesn't think like that. The left thinks they do exist, and we have to stop them from existing. So what they do? The left goes and has this mass pro-illegal immigration, pro-abolish ICE rally in Fishers, where they estimate 1,000 people were there. And the Capital Chronicle wrote an article about the event. And I wanted to read you a little bit of it because it's another example of the left and their complete lack of self-control telling the average person in Indiana, which is where the event was, don't vote for us. This is the way it works in our state. People see the Republican governance, property taxes, utility bills, corruption with the IEDC, all of this stuff that we've, laid out many, many times. And they go, man, I'd love to have something different. Show me something different. Show me something that is more about me, my family, making life better for us. And so they start looking for alternatives. And in this state, until Greg Ballard is able to get the 10% to form a new political party, your alternative is the Democrats. It's part of why Ballard succeeding is so important. We have to have an alternative other than the Democrats. So the Capital Chronicle writes, among the attendees was Senator Fauci Kadora, Democrat, Indianapolis, who likened the mass deportation rally to the activity of the Ku Klux Klan, which had a stronghold in Indiana in the early 20th century. You've lost everyone right there. It's like calling someone a Nazi. Simply saying that people who broke the law shouldn't be allowed to break the law is not on the same planet as the Ku Klux Klan or Nazis or anything else. And when you say that to the average person, because the average person is for border enforcement. The average person is for having rules. They are for having regulations. Polling bears it out. The one place Trump has continued to do kind of okay, despite failing at everything else, is the border. People don't want mass wholesale illegal immigration. And when you say that a group who has a rally talking about just that is the Ku Klux Klan, you're telling the average person, we think you're the Ku Klux Klan. And the average person then says, okay, well, I guess I'll just keep voting for the government I don't like because you think I'm a Klansman, Fauci Kadora. Quote, they're replacing slogans, uniforms, and messages, but they are using the same playbook they played in Indiana over 100 years ago. Quote from Fauci Kadora. I watched the event on Saturday with no emotion, no bias. I saw no uniforms. I saw no salutes. I saw no chanting. I saw no slogans. I just saw a bunch of people attending an event, minding their own business, behaving themselves. And this idea of like, well, they operate in secret, well, it was streamed on the internet for everyone to watch. I'm pretty sure the Klan didn't have their event on the internet in the 1920s for everyone to watch. I'm pretty sure being a part of the Klan was a pretty secret society. Look, I think this group handled it wrong by having a private event. I think they handled it wrong by charging people to go. I think they would have been far more effective, whatever they were trying to accomplish, and you would have a lot more people, and it would have got a lot more publicity if you'd have had it for the masses. But it's not my event. I don't care. It's your event. You do it as you see fit. I think doing a private event was the wrong thing to do, but not because I think you're some secret society. I think you should have put it out there for everyone to go to. You might add a lot more people. Look, Fauci Kadora sounds like the world's biggest dumbass when he compares people having a private, law-abiding event that was streamed on the internet in which people wore suits and ties and dresses to the event. There was an actual dress code for the event. There were no uniforms. There were no patches. The people sat quietly and watched the event. You sound like an idiot, Fatty Cadora, an absolute idiot. Enforcing immigration law is not in the same universe as the Ku Klux Klan or the Nazis. And you make yourself and your party wholly unelectable when you say stuff like that. You're not winning anyone to your side. What you're doing is alienating people you need to win, including people like me. Because now what you're doing is you're making Bo Bai answer for that. If I'm a member of the conservative media and I can get Bo Bai on the record at one of these events, I would absolutely ask him, do you believe anti-illegal immigration people are Nazis? They're the Ku Klux Klan. Because your guy, Fatty Cadora, said that's what he thinks. And I'd make him feel the pain. I'd make him answer the question. There are 9 million different options for you guys to go at Republicans. There are the Democrats to attack Republicans. The price of everything, including things that hit people every day, like property taxes, like utility bills. The just brazen corruption with the IEDC. The roads in just deplorable shape. One of the highest gas taxes in the nation. Tolling, crony capitalism, you name it. And instead, you're going to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, and you're going to say that if you're for enforcing immigration law, you're a part of the Ku Klux Klan. You know, when my audience, you guys, like I was reading a bunch of this stuff and looking at the comments, and I was saying, you know what? I kind of get why people say we just can't have the Democrats anywhere near power because of stuff like this. I get it. I don't think you can keep voting for Republicans because of Democrats being idiots, because Republicans will keep running your life into the ground too. But I get it. One of the worst things you can do on this planet is compare someone to a Nazi or a member of the Ku Klux Klan. And that's what Fatty Cadora says he thinks and the Democrats think of you if you are for enforcing immigration laws. Rabbi Aaron Spiegel, this is back to the Capitol Chronicle article, executive director of the Greater Indianapolis Multi-Faith Alliance. Again, you got 3 names in anything. If you have more than 3 names, you've lost me. Greater Indianapolis Multi-Faith Alliance said immigrants are just the latest in a series of groups to be scapegoated for societal problems. Quote, we have a moral and ethical duty to say, we will not dehumanize anyone, Spiegel said. You're not dehumanizing somebody by saying you have to follow the law. It is not racist. It is not bigoted. It is not dehumanizing to say we are a country. Countries have laws. Countries have rules. Becoming a citizen has a process. You don't just get to go wherever you want to go and do whatever you want to do. I'm not going to be told I'm a bad person for saying I believe in following the rules. I was laughing because over the week, I posted this sort of stuff. I was like, just saying how the Democrats and the left just keep snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. They keep telling regular people, we hate you, don't vote for us. They keep telling regular people, we have no ability to connect with you or meet you where you're at. And what was funny is, and I get a lot of support. Look, our slogan here, we dislike all these people equally. And there are a lot of times I'll get supports from Democrats left because I'm critical of Republicans. And I always tell these people, like, don't think I'm being critical of the Republicans because I agree with you. I'm being critical of the Republicans because they don't govern like Republicans. Now, I am fiercely independent. I'm not beholden to anyone, so I can call everyone out. There's nothing I want. But don't mistake me being critical of Republicans for me agreeing with you. But I get a lot of support from the left people because I'm a very prominent member of the media who has the gravitas and the standing to attack Republicans and get traction on it. Nobody's going to accuse me of being a liberal. Well, people do, but it's ridiculous. But what's funny was a whole bunch of these people who cheerlead me over the weekend, they turned on me big time. It got so ridiculous with one guy. Somehow we ended up on the crowd size of the property tax rally, and he said he's going to file a FOIA request with the state police to find out how many people went to the property tax rally. I said, I hate to break it with you too, buddy. They don't have a clicker where they're keeping track. They just made an estimate. They do it for a living. Because I kept telling him, if you're mad about what the state police said the crowd size was, take it up with the state police. The point is, though, all the people who, they love me when I go at the Republicans, they were big mad at me this weekend. Because the thing about this show and what we do, we always find common sense. Because we're not beholden to anyone. We can tell you exactly how it is. And the reality on all of this is that the left, all they did over the weekend was remind people why they can't vote for them. You see the flag, abolish ICE. You see these quotes, you're a Nazi if you're for border enforcement. You're a Nazi if you're for legal immigration. You're a Klansman if you're saying you have to do things the right way. And people say, okay, I'll take you at your word. If that's what you think of me, I'm not voting for you. Enjoy your super minorities. This response, when they do these things, it almost makes me want to sympathize with the Republicans. Almost. Not quite. You are not dehumanizing people by saying you broke the law, you have to go back. That's not dehumanizing. That's saying we have standards, we have rules, we have regulations. Quote, we live in a diverse neighborhood, said Christine Winger, who wore a shirt reading Fishers for Everyone. Our neighbors are from Ukraine and from Japan and from all over the world, and they are welcome to be my neighbors, and I support them being here in Fishers, Indiana, because they are an important part of our community. My question to her would be, did they come here legally? Are they legal U.S. citizens? Are they assimilating? Are they working? Are they paying their own way? If they're doing all of those things, then I probably support them too. See, this is what the left does. They try to confuse you demanding people follow the law with you being a racist or a bigot or a phobe or whatever. I don't care whether some guy's from Japan or not. Did he come here legally? Did he follow the law? It's not about, see, the left tries to make it about whatever conversation they want to have, which is if you're against illegal immigration, then you hate all people from other countries. You hate all people with different color skin. That's what they try to frame the conversation as, and we're not going to allow that. I welcome your Japan neighbor who came to the country legally. I welcome him. Or her. Or they, them. Whichever. Whatever the pronoun they prefer. But you don't get to do that here. And that becomes the argument. That's the argument they make, because they know if you say it out loud, which is, I think people should be able to illegally enter the country and stay here, they'll be rejected. So they try to turn it into, if you're for legal immigration, you're an ist or a phobe or a whatever. Then the libertarian guy had to speak up. And this is why libertarians are probably about to lose their ballot access. They've blown every chance imaginable to connect with Hoosiers. People hate the Republicans. Poll after poll shows the majority of people in this state are not Republican. They are looking for something, for someone to gravitate to. And the Libertarians for 35 years have had every opportunity to be that party, and they won't do it. And it is probably actually, and look, I hate this because I believe in more voices. I think we need more people being involved, whether I agree with them or not. I support free speech. I don't have an aneurysm when people have an event for things I don't agree with. I believe in diversity of voices and diversity of thought. And the Libertarians have some great fiscal positions. But anytime they get outside of the fiscal stuff, they become completely unelectable. Completely unelectable. And they have had such an opportunity over the past decade as people have become fed up with the way Republicans have governed this state to be a viable voice. And they've just said, no, we don't want that. And you know what? Probably the best thing for the Libertarians would be, and I hate this because I want diversity and I want voices, is for the Libertarians to lose their ballot access, because that might make them wake the hell up and actually formulate a party that would resonate with Hoosiers. So this guy's name is Joe Hauptman, and I've known Joe Hauptman. He's a nice guy, but he did so much harm to his party's brand by saying this in the newspaper. It's not a newspaper. In a publication that people read, like the Capitol Chronicle. He's the former chairman of the Libertarian Party. So he's not some fringe guy. The Libertarians have some real squirrels. They also have some really good people. People like, Jeremiah Morrill, Mark Rutherford. There's some really great Libertarians. Jeff Moore. There's some people who really get it, but they get drowned out by the crazy people. And this is coming from a guy who was the former head of the Libertarian Party. So it's not some guy you can put in the corner and go, that's not us, right? Everybody's got some squirrels. He's the former head of the Libertarian Party. And like I said, I know Joe. He's a nice guy. This is ridiculous about what he said. He comes to this rally, and he's basically talking about how he feels betrayed by conservatives because of their approach on immigration. Quote, I feel very used because what I thought when we were talking about freedom, we meant for everyone. And it turns out most of our allies meant only for themselves. You don't have the freedom to illegally enter this country, Joe. You don't have the freedom to do whatever the hell that you want. There are rules. And when you, as a former head of the Libertarian Party, on the record, say that conservatives are violating people's freedoms and you feel betrayed because we say there's a process to enter this country, you, just like the left, tell people, don't vote for us. There are rules for decent society. As a notorious rule follower, I know. Freedom doesn't mean you have the ability to break the law. That isn't freedom. That's cheating. This is why conservatives who hate Republicans and how they govern never take the Libertarians seriously. Statements like that. Look, and I put this on social media. If someone wants to have a private event, follow the law, behave themselves, not cause any disruptions, and everyone there's consenting, just leave them alone. That 100-person event would have gotten no traction if it weren't for the left. And the dirty little secret is, the majority of people, while they may not be 100% where those people at that event were, they're far more at that with the people of that event than they are with the abolish ICE, open borders, amnesty for everyone crowd that were waving flags in Fishers. But at the end of the day, just leave everybody alone. They want to have a private event. Let them do it. Let them do it. Hey, Anthony Gary, he owns IndieDwell Real Estate, and he doesn't just list homes for sale. He gets them noticed, he gets them shown, he gets them sold without you losing sleep or sanity. Anthony's trained with some of the top negotiators on earth and is ready to help you achieve your real estate goals. Put Anthony's expert selling strategy and experience to work for you. Call or text Anthony Gary, IndieDwell Real Estate, 317-756-1159. 317-756-1159. All right, couple of housekeeping items here. And then we're going to hear from the oil guy. Bill Herrick is going to be with us. Midwest Energy Partners. How high is oil going to go? How much will that potentially raise prices at the pump? How high might gas prices end up in the state of Indiana after the gas tax suspensions expire coming up here in less than a week? We'll get to Bill on that in just a moment. But first, I want to say thank you to all of our amazing supporters who hit the support button over at robkendallshow.com over the weekend. They included Aaron and Michael and our old buddy Steve Green with an E. You guys were awesome. Can't thank you enough. If you haven't been over there yet, robkendallshow.com is our website. We got a big support button up at the top of the page. If you like what we do, we so appreciate all of you. You very generous listeners, viewers, supporters of the Rob Kendall Show who help us continue to bring you Indiana news, politics, and government with an independent voice you're not going to find anywhere else. And speaking of that support button, listen to this. What an incredible deal. Thanks to our friend John at Black Sheep Plumbing. Of course, Black Sheep Plumbing sponsors the YouTube chat each day at the end of the show. If someone hits the support button with a donation this month, up to $100 backs, and you guys know every person who donates, I try to send you a thank you email. Send them out Sunday. That doesn't mean it's automatically that day or the next day, but I try to get them out within a day or two. It's just saying, hey, thanks. Appreciate you supporting the show. Appreciate you being with us. If someone supports the show with a giving, with you supporting the show, $100 maximum, hit the support button over at robkendallshow.com and shows John the thank you email from me, he's going to double that amount as credit on any plumbing repair for the month of August. So let's say you say, hey, I'm supporting the show for $100. And you get an email back from me saying, thanks for supporting the show. He will give you a $200 credit if you need the service in the month of August. Black Sheep Plumbing is one of our most loyal supporters. So if you need plumbing services, you might actually end up making money on the deal just by supporting the Rob Kendall Show. So if you're like thinking about basic plumbing needs for the month of August, that might be a great way to get those done. Maybe even come out a little bit ahead. Hit the support button, robkendallshow.com. If you show John your thank you email that you got from me and the amount you donated, he's going to double that into credit for plumbing services. John is a very, very loyal supporter of the Rob Kendall Show. Black Sheep Plumbing. That's how we do it. All right. Let's take a break. When we come back, oil guy Bill Herrick will be with us. How high is oil going to go? How high is gas going to go? We'll give you the details. When we come back, you're watching Rob Kendall Show. Do you have a dog but don't have a fenced-in yard? Your HOA won't allow a fence? Worried about having to watch your furry friend anytime you go outside? Avoid the blazing hot summers and freezing cold winters with All-American Dog Fence. All-American Dog Fence is the cost-effective, easy-to-use, in-ground fence system to keep your dog secure and give you peace of mind anytime they're outside. All-American Dog Fence backs their Pet Stop products with a lifetime warranty. Call or text All-American Dog Fence at 317-862-6606 or visit their website at allamericandogfence.com. Mention the Rob Kendall Show and get $200 off a new installation.
DC politicians don't care. Buying stocks with insider information, they get filthy rich. But if you did it, you'd get locked up. Thankfully, there's one fighter on our side. Senator Todd Young is pushing to ban all congressional stock trading forever. He's never traded a single stock while in Congress. Young's a Marine who does the right thing. Contact Senator Todd Young. Thank him for standing up for us and for fighting to ban congressional stock trading.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
He's back. Look who it is. Everybody's favorite, and what an uplifting time for you to be here. The oil guy, Bill Herrick. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, Rob. How are you doing?
Okay, just a reminder. Well, I'm doing okay until they lift the gas taxes suspension. And then I'm going to be doing really bad. That's why you're going to come in here.
Yeah.
I need you to make me feel better about oil and the price of gas. And so if you're going to give me bad news, at least do it with a smile today. That's a deal.
No, you know what? I had another journalist actually asked me the question earlier last week about what oil prices are going to be like at the end of the year. And I just laughed at him. I said, end of the year, I can't tell you what they're going to be at the end of the week.
What's that bad?
You know, I mean, it's the volatility is just incredible. So it's so hard to predict anything.
You came with notes, which I like.
Yeah.
You do all the work for me.
I did come with notes. Yeah.
Okay. Remind everybody, you are the big boss, Midwest Energy Partners.
We're the big boss in the small, and we're a very small player in a big show.
Well, basically, like you run around looking like J.R. Ewing and you get oil out of the ground.
Yeah.
All right.
I should have brought my hat. Dang it.
Well, okay. Why is the Iran war such a big deal as it relates to oil prices?
Sure.
Is it just the Strait? Is that it? The whole deal?
It is the Strait, but the problem is that for us is that our oil supply has shrunk already since February. It's already shrunk about 10%, or about 40 million barrels, because of the war. And the problem is, and I got to remind everybody, because everyone always asks me, well, if we're making 14 million barrels of oil a day here in the United States, why are we importing? Why are we short? And the problem is that our refineries are set up to handle heavy crude oil. And the oil that we produce is light sweet crude oil. So most of the refineries, about 60% of them, can't produce gasoline out of the oil that we make here in the United States.
Why do we do that? No, this is going to be a stupid question, but I got no problem asking stupid questions.
Yeah, no, it's a great question.
Why don't we build the refinery so we could do it all here?
There's a strong rumor and I think it's actually going to happen, that we're going to be building a new refinery in Alabama that will produce gasoline and other oil-related products strictly from United States oil. But it's a $300 billion price tag.
Oh, billion.
Billion.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, so it's a big deal. But what happened was in the late 60s.
We print money all the time. Let's just print it for that.
That's what'll happen. We'll just print more money. But the problem was back in the 60s, they didn't see the United States oil production kept dropping. And that was before fracking and all this other stuff happened and all this other technology came along. So they said, well, hey, we better start getting oil from other countries that we know we can get oil from, such as Saudi Arabia and Iran and Venezuela, for example. And so that was all heavy sour crude oil. So that's why we did it. And then by and large, surprise, hit the 1980s, and all of a sudden, Harold Hamm and Continental Oil figured out how to get oil out of and by fracking. So now we have this issue. But as I said on the show before, we have over 5,000 uses of oil. A
lot more than just gas.
Like anything from pantyhose to asphalt and on streets. There's 5,000 different places oil goes. So.
Okay, this is like ridiculous, but maybe not. So I have a car. You may be aware that it barely runs, and it runs. Well, I mean, it's holding up fine.
You're doing so well now, though. You'll be able to buy new.
Well, I'm very cheap. You should know that, Bill. That's the deal.
I do know that. I'm
going to run this thing into the ground. One of the problems with the car is it burns oil. Probably not great, but it runs fine as long as you regularly put oil in it. Oil, problem is, like, every month I got to put a new quart of oil in.
Right.
I bought a quart of oil the other day from the Walmart, so I'm not like upscale shopping here.
Yeah.
And it was like $2 higher than it was the month before.
Sure.
It's getting very expensive.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
When does it stop?
Well, when the war will stop. That's the issue, and that's the problem. I think everyone has is what we're having right now is we're having this, Iran, sends some missiles over, we retaliate, we send some missiles back, and I don't think this thing is going to get resolved anytime soon. And the problem is, the longer this continues, and I see this going on into next year.
Oh no!
I may be wrong. You're paying for exactly what my opinion's worth. But the problem is I think we just retaliate to what they're doing, even though Trump's position is we're not going to give up until we get the nuclear program taken care of. I don't. I'm a history buff. And, you go back to World War II and Germany and Japan weren't going to, surrender. They absolutely refused to surrender. And the only way we got them to surrender was, with the help of Russia, to get basically invaded Germany to take that country over. And then with Japan, we had to, drop a couple of nukes to get them to end the war. I don't see us ending this war until we put boots on the ground, and that's a very, very unpopular idea with Congress. So this basically is, they hit us, we hit them, they hit us, we hit them. I don't see where this is going. And then so the longer it continues, the longer the oil continues to get constrained, within the oil producing countries. A lot of these countries have turned the wells off because they have no place to put it. So that's why
the Strait's a big deal.
Oh, absolutely.
These countries are just saying we're not even going to produce it because there's no point. It just sits there.
Right. And some of these other pipelines have been struck by Iran, or oil refineries have been struck by Iran, not to any great extent, but again, they're all afraid to produce oil. So, and then we got to bring in the political aspect of it, though, and how that's going to affect the elections this fall. It's an unpopular war for the general public, it seems like, although I think the general public's wrong. I think we, from our protecting our children, our grandchildren, we got to get this nuclear issue taken care of.
Oh, you're buying this.
So I'm buying this. I'm totally buying this. But my point is, get it over with. Do whatever you need to do.
Blow them to smithereens. Be done with it.
The only way you can argue with a bully is by putting your boot on their neck, and that's the only way you can negotiate.
Bill Herrick, the oil guy, our guest, Midwest Energy Partners. Okay, I paid $3.13 for gas yesterday.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, I think it's going to be a while before I see $3.13 again with the price of oil and the gas tax about to be suspended. Let's just say the gas tax is going to go away, or it's going to go back in, which it is.
All right.
How high do you think gas could get in the state of Indiana?
Again, depending on how long this goes, immediately it'll go over $4. That's a no-brainer. It's the cost of a gallon of gasoline right now is to the refiners is about $3.30, or from the refiners is about $3.30. So
the rest is markup.
You add another 40, 50 cents of markup, and so you're at about $3.80, and then you got to add in all the taxes. So if that 65 cents or whatever it is for the state tax comes on in I think August 6th is when he's looking at this thing rescinding. We're looking at in first week of August, oil being back, gas being back up to four.
Has oil reached a limit, right? Like, is 100 a barrel? Is that the mark? Like, how high do you think it could go?
I mean, it's literally, there's no limit to it. So
that's uplifting.
No, it really isn't. And what happens is you have these attacks, oil goes up, and then Trump says, well, we got a peace deal coming up, and then, oil drops back down. It does seem to drop down quicker than it goes back up. But the reality is that this is going to just continue and go on and go on and go on until we have a final resolution. And if it doesn't, for example, our strategic reserve is at the lowest level it's ever been.
Let's talk about that for a second and why that matters. So you say it was at $400 million. Now it's at $310 million. That's the lowest level since 1983. Right. $310 million sounds like a lot of barrels, but you're saying it's not.
No, I mean, that's several weeks. I mean, that's goes through.
When they say they released the strategic reserves, what the hell does that even mean?
It just gets, the oil just gets transferred to refiners, and that's all it is. So but
it helps the whole world, right? It doesn't even help.
Well, the U.S. the U.S. strategic reserve is just quote for the United States, but there's other reserves around the world, but they've also been depleted. So my point is all this is that at some point you're gonna want to rebuild it, and even when oil prices do bottom out, and you can start bringing oil back into the reserve, that's going to have an effect on prices too. So I don't see any reason why oil prices or gas prices will be down, anytime soon below, $2.75. That would be the absolute minimum I would see it. And I think, again, with gas taxes being added back in, you're looking at probably $4.50.
Great.
So
now
you're going to be in that range for the next forever, however long this thing gets.
You oil guys, right? How often do you hear that? You oil guys, that it's just a big money-making scheme for you guys. How often do you hear that?
Never. Because we're the good guys. The more oil we make is less oil we got to import. So I'm the good guy.
Hey, I did want to ask you, because you applied the first time to be on the IURC board.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I've ever had a chance to chat with you since they made their pick. You may remember I got dismissed from my previous employer, I think, before we had a chance to have that conversation.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that process? Because you made it to the interview.
I made it to the final cut, but then they basically we got it down to, I think it was 9 people, and so and then they were going to pick 3 of the 9, and I thought the process was very well. Our mutual friend Jim Merritt was largely involved with it, and I thought Susie Jaworski at the Department of Energy, whatever title she has now, I thought she did a good job of spearheading it. But when they came down to picking people, they were all politicians.
Well, that's the problem, right? That's when he got mad about Andy Zay voting for the rate increases. Like, what do you think it was gonna be?
Absolutely.
Okay, let me ask you about, because you obviously had to answer these questions.
Yeah.
Are the data centers a problem as it relates to energy?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So when they're acting like it's no big deal, they're full of it.
They're full of it. Absolutely.
Tell me why.
But what they're saying is they're going to build maybe standalone nuclear facilities, many nuclear plants to support the electricity. We haven't built one of those in the United States yet, but these data centers are all going up. So, at some point, we're it's got to, when they wanted the switch to get turned on, the energy's got to come from someplace, and it's going to come from our domestic sources that, we have. So there's no way in the world that's not going to increase prices.
You hear a lot about nuclear, and that's been my argument, is there's 0 places these small modular reactors have actually worked, right? I mean, the nuclear thing seems like a big false promise, but you're more into it than I am. What say you?
They've worked overseas. They're in Europe, and they've worked overseas, but does anybody want one of those in their backyard?
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't. Where some of these data centers are going, there are some pretty remote places, but there's also some areas where they're trying to fix urban blight by putting a data center in or whatever. And, guess where that energy is coming from? There's no way in the world they're going to have a nuclear facility for those. So, yeah, I think that's a big joke. And figure out your energy source before you start building the dang thing is what I would say.
Well, so that was just going to ask you, is when they asked you about affordability, what was your answer to them about how you get utility rates under control?
Yeah, well, the problem is
I'm going broke, Bill.
Oh, absolutely. No, we all are. My wife owns a dance and gymnastics studio, and her average monthly bill was $2,500 a year ago, and it's now $4,000. That's a 25,000 square foot building, so it's a big building, but still.
Well, I just threw a fit about $123. So I said,
yeah, but I mean, it's up 33% from a year ago, and it's crazy. So, the reality is that you've got to give utilities rates of return that will interest them to invest in our state. I mean, if they don't, if we're saying to this utilities, all right, we're going to get an 8% return on your investment, but Kentucky's going to give me 18% or whatever. Guess what? They're not going to build a plant here. So you've got to be a little bit sympathetic to that side of it. But the reality is that it's just absolutely killing the consumer right now because the way the provisions are in the contracts, they can pass on all their costs to the consumer, and their costs have increased.
I love you did this whole interview for me.
Yeah.
I didn't even have to look at anything. I mean, not anything anyway. Reading was never my strong suit. Okay, so the bottom line is here, $4.50 gas.
Yeah.
It's not ending anytime soon.
No.
What, do I just drive less?
Yeah.
Walk more?
Walk more to get a bike. No, it's again, and it's the thing that you look so stupid with this is like you can say, okay, yeah, $4.50 gasoline by the end of August, and we could be at $2.75 because in the next week or two, Trump will come out and get this peace plan thing worked out. He'll convince the markets that things are going to get a lot better and the war's over. Blah blah blah. And then we'll be right back to it. My whole point with this war is that Iran can't be trusted.
Yeah, you got to do it or don't.
You got to do it. You can't negotiate with these guys, and they've killed thousands of people. To me, it's just an obvious thing. You just got to do it. And I give them great kudos for being one of the first guys that's done it, because this problem's been going on for 39 years or 49 years or whatever it's been. So
I'm very poor, so he's got to do it quick.
Yeah,
I'm running out of money.
But it is
go live with you.
That is no, but it is true. The longer this continues, the longer it's going to have an impact on higher prices.
Bill Herrick, the oil guy, Midwest Energy Partners. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Take a break. Be back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
I'm Anthony Gary. I started Indy Dwell Real Estate because too many friends, family members, and neighbors had real estate experiences that lacked compassion, explanation, and expertise. You deserve someone in your corner with the heart of a teacher, simplifying every step of the buying or selling process. When you hire me, you get me. Start to finish, you'll never be handed off. No stress, no surprises, just the expert guidance and results you deserve. Anthony Gary, Indy Dwell Real Estate. Call or text 317-756-1159. 317-756-1159.
Did you know Honeysuckle Hill in Brazil offers more than just a fabulous made-from-scratch meal at the bistro? It also has an adjoining cottage, great for a perfect, relaxing weekend away with a scenic waterfront view. The cottage offers 3 bedrooms, 2 baths with spa-like tile showers, full kitchen, living room with fireplace, laundry facilities, and a full deck overlooking the lake. And Andy, one of the owners, delivers breakfast in a picnic basket at 8:30 each morning. Plan the perfect weekend away at the scenic Honeysuckle Hill property on the water in beautiful Brazil. Book today by visiting their website at honeysucklehillb.com.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're having a great Monday morning, and we appreciate you being with us. Indiana news, politics, and government. You're not going to get anywhere else. We've got some great audio coming up for you. Before we do that, though, a couple of housekeeping items. Number one, if you haven't done so yet, give us that thumbs up. If you're watching us live or on demand on YouTube, give us that thumbs up. It really helps us grow the program. If you're one of the thousands of people who have checked out this program via On Demand, the Apple, the iHeart, the Spotify, all the places, thank you to you guys as well. Appreciate you joining us. Give us a 5-star review. Leave a good review. Those things really help us grow the show. Share it out, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you got. Let people know about the Rob Kendall Show. You'd be amazed at how much just that little share button, one little share, can help us grow the program. And last but certainly not least, subscribe to the show. Wherever you're joining us from, whatever platforms, plural, you're listening to us from, subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. That's how you can help us grow the Rob Kendall Show. All right, let's thank our fine friends over at Bramwell Mackay. Bramwell Mackay, got a leaky chimney, water in the basement, cracks around the exterior of your home. Bramwell Mackay, Property Services and Consultants is your authority for chimney repair, tuck pointing, foundation repair, crawl space to basement conversions, basement waterproofing, and more. Bramwell Mackay doesn't just offer quick patches. Their team of 40-year master masons and industry experts address the root cause and provide solutions that last lifetimes. Your home is one of your biggest investments. Treat it that way. Bramwell McKay, BRAMWELLMCKAY, BramwellMcKay.com, your masonry, foundation, and chimney specialist. Again, welcome in. It is the Rob Kendall Show. Don't forget, I got a Twitter account as well, at Rob M. Kendall on Twitter. If you like what we're doing over here on the Rob Kendall Show, you can play along all day, every day. A lot of the topics we talk about here end up on Twitter. We had a wild weekend on Twitter with the immigration stuff and everything else. At Rob M. Kendall on Twitter, at Rob M. Kendall on Twitter. Certainly would appreciate a follow over there. All right. So we've got some audio coming up here to play for you. And one of the first pieces of audio is Bill Maher. And look, we've talked about Bill Maher in the past, about you shouldn't feel any sympathy for Bill Maher because Bill Maher is part of the group that created the rise of the crazy people on the left. Bill Maher was a never-Trumper. Bill Maher hates Donald Trump, and he recognized as part of the early Trump resistance back in the first Trump term that there was a market to be anti-Trump. And he took the reins of that, and he recognized there was a whole lot of people out there that could be easily manipulated, for lack of a better term. And Maher was one of the leaders, one of the original leaders of getting people in a state of psychosis, I don't know if that's the correct word, about Trump. Now, Maher has since recognized he's lost control of the beast. He's lost control of the monster, and it's out of control. The socialist maniacs, the communist people, the far left people, they're not just resisting Trump anymore. They're not just useful idiots in terms of resisting Trump. They're taking over, and they're taking over the Democrat Party. And so more and more Maher sounds like a guy who's speaking common sense. But I don't think Maher's seen any light. I think it's a game of self-preservation. So here is Maher on his show, Real Time with Bill Maher, taking the Democrat socialists to task for being complete lunatic extremists and pointing out they are communists and what they actually believe.
He was caught in actual lies. He was telling people, and the big issue to me is the origin.
Sorry. That's my mistake. Let's start that over. This first clip, actually, can we play 2 first? Can we do 2 first? Let's do clip 2 first because I mislabeled him. 100% my fault. That's on me. I don't want anybody thinking Jason did anything wrong. We'll get back to clip 1 because that's about Fauci, and I got to set that up for you guys. Here is Maher. Take a listen.
Donald Trump has told 1 trillion lies, but when he says the Democratic Socialists of America are actually communist, that's not one of them. And it's not hard to prove it just by quoting the DSA and their candidates. J.D. Vance was on the show, and I told him that if the Democratic Party keeps going in the direction of the DSA, my vote was in play. And all I heard all vacation was, oh my God, you're a Republican now. No, that's not what I said. I said in play. And here's why. Because not a week goes by where I don't read about some newly chosen, exciting new face in the Democratic Party. And then when that face opens its mouth, the Communist Manifesto or some other crazy shit comes out. Again, let's just read the quotes. The DSA platform says you work as much as you are able and no more than needed. If that was any closer to Karl Marx's dictum from each according to his abilities to each according to his needs, they'd be sued for plagiarism. New York Mayor Mondani once tweeted Karl Marx's words exactly. They're not trying to hide it. Their most popular influencer, Hassan Piker, thinks communism is so groovy. He laments the fall of the 2 of the most murderous regimes in history, the Soviet Union and Chairman Mao's China. Mondani's aide, his top aide, Sia Weaver, said, if you don't believe in the government's sacred right to seize property, it's over, and impoverish the white middle class. What? That's a goal?
Yeah, I mean, he's spot on. These people are lunatics, and they believe in absolute control, as in the government, which they want to run, taking absolute control. That's what they believe. They believe in a total eradication of the American way of life. It's not about size of government. It's not about scope of government. It is about complete and utter control of your existence through the government. And Maher recognizes, while he is liberal, just like sort of a James Carville who we've played him on the show, that he don't want any part of that. And he's pointing out who these people are, and they are taking over, and they are the new cause du jour. Every single week, there's a new one, another one, and they're taking over the Democrat Party. All right. So Maher was on fire. This will be clip one. He also shredded Fauci and the repeated lies he told during COVID. The biggest among them was that COVID didn't come from a lab, which, as we laid out, and we went into great detail in this last week, it was obvious from the beginning. It was obvious to anyone paying attention that it came out of a lab, that Fauci was deeply involved with the labs. And so Maher lays that out about how it's okay to acknowledge Fauci lied. And it's interesting because I saw somebody over the weekend, I posted, they commented on our show. And I always have a little description of the show. And I said, Fauci's a monster. And it's okay to hate Fauci. And this person, oh, Fauci's a hero and this and that. And this guy just gets people just ganged up on him. Because people are saying, Fauci's a liar. A proven liar. But some people get so into their political cause, their beliefs, that they cannot acknowledge they were fooled. They can't acknowledge they were lied to. They cannot acknowledge they were deceived. The real mark of a person is being able to realize they got played. I mean, look at how I responded to our lieutenant governor. What have I told you guys? He fooled me. I got played. He never had any interest in helping you or lowering your property taxes or fighting for you or taking down the IEDC or any of that stuff. Con man, American Greed character, Micah Beckwith. He got me. But I didn't keep up the lie afterwards. When it became abundantly clear the guy was a piece of garbage, I said, he got me. I'm going to learn from it. I'll never let it happen again. But there are people, especially on the left, as it relates to Fauci, who no matter what evidence you present to them, they're going to defend it. This guy, Jason, I'll tell you who it is when we go to a break, because you'll find this hilarious. You know him. He goes, it was fog of war. People get confused. The diary makes it abundantly clear there was no confusion. He was lying. He was saying one thing in his diary, and he was telling another publicly. And everything he was doing was about empowering and protecting himself. But yet there are people who, with clear, irrefutable evidence put in front of them, will defend Fauci. And one of the things Maher talks about is how political correctness and the way the left has tried to utilize that everyone's racist game has reached a point that it's so far beyond ridiculous that you can't even criticize Fauci about what appear to be obvious lies. Take a listen.
He was caught in actual lies. He was telling people, and the big issue to me is the origin of this, which is very important. How did it start? And he was telling people up front when it first began, it was from the wet markets. It could not, that's a conspiracy theory. If you say it escaped from the lab. And he knew better because we have him in his diary telling us what he was saying to other scientists who were saying, no, absolutely. And the real issue here is the gain of function research. Yeah. And again, if we weren't so partisan, we could just say, gain of function research, Obama told him not to do it. I would always have said, don't do it. But it's a viable debate. It's a reasonable debate. Should we soup up something that's bad, this bacteria, to study it? Maybe if it got out, it would be even worse. I think that's what did happen. We could have had that debate in a rational way. We didn't want to do that. Because why? Because we make everything about race. And this is one of the repercussions in this. You couldn't say it escaped from the lab because that was the racist point of view somehow. That the entire Asian continent would have been somehow complicit in this because it escaped from it was ridiculous, but that is where they went. You were racist if you said this escaped from a lab. I think we've morphed from a place where we want to, obviously not be prejudiced against anybody to where people of color can never do any wrong. Something couldn't have escaped from an Asian lab. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, he's right. Everybody's racist game now affects being able to tell the truth about how a virus witch-wrecked society, where it came from. The political correctness game has destroyed humanity. He's absolutely right. And it's great when he says it because he's a lib. He's a big lib, and even Maher recognizes it. All right, one of my favorite new games is watching Bernie Sanders try to explain how he doesn't vet any of the candidates he endorses. Like we tried to talk about this during the primary season with all these people Trump was endorsing. He knows nothing about these people. Nothing. If they walked in front of him, he'd have no idea who they are. And yet, because Trump endorses out of personal interest, people vote that way. Especially in a Republican primary. I don't think it's going to help you in a general, but in the Republican primary, people vote based on what Trump says about people he knows nothing about. Bernie Sanders is the equivalent of that on the left. He endorses all of these people. He knows nothing about them. And yet, people vote based on that endorsement. It blows my mind. And so now he's getting asked a whole bunch about his endorsement process because of this Graham Plattner dude, the guy in Maine who totally imploded. And all this stuff came out about him, about inappropriate behavior, inappropriate contact with women, allegations of rape, all of these things. And Sanders has no answer for any of it because he knew nothing about the guy. He's just throwing his name behind whoever his people say, throw your name behind this guy. He's liberal. Okay, boom. And so he was on Meet the Press, and he got asked again about supporting Plattner. And my new favorite thing is, and to the media's credit, they keep going with this, is Bernie Sanders trying to pull stuff out of his butt cheeks to explain why he endorses people he knows nothing about. Clip 3, take a listen.
Let me ask you, because in the face of these growing scandals against Plattner, emotional abuse, aggressive behavior, which he did deny, you did continue to support.
There were very serious allegations against Plattner. As a result of those accusations, I and virtually all of his supporters requested that he withdraw from the race, and he did. Very serious allegations. And he withdrew from the race.
You, in fact, said there are no saints in the United States Senate before those most serious allegations came out. Do you regret endorsing Graham Plattner in the first place, Senator?
Well, it's easy to be a Monday morning quarterback. Plattner ran a very strong campaign, and in fact, many of the issues that he's raised are resonating all over this country. A woman made very serious allegations against him. He withdrew from the race, period.
And just to button this up, any regrets? Do you wish if you could go back?
Okay, that's, I think right now we're looking at a campaign in Michigan. We're looking at a campaign in Minnesota. The people of this country right now are sick and tired of establishment politics and establishment policies. They want change. And I and other progressives are going to do everything that we can to bring about those changes.
Zero ownership. None whatsoever. He knows. Stop voting based on endorsements. Stop. If you've ever done that, stop. If you do it now, stop. These people know nothing about these candidates. Zero. Bernie Sanders isn't sorry he endorsed the guy. He's sorry the guy got caught and it made him look bad. That's it. That's all he's sorry about. He doesn't care. And he's going to do it in the next place and the next place and the next place. He knows nothing about any of these people. Same thing with Trump. He endorses based on whatever's best for him. That's it. Stop voting that way on people these endorsers know nothing about. All right. Speaking of Trump, guys, it's the day that ends in Y. And that means there's another supposed deal with Iran. Like, I've just tuned it out at this point. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't excite me. It doesn't make me angry. I mean, I feel like we have to cover it in some capacity, but it's exhausting. I mean, he has lost everyone. Nobody believes anything he says with Iran. Nobody, like, it's like being with a woman or a man, a partner, who just every time you go back to them, they cheat on you. Well, we're getting back together this time. Really? Oh, yeah, it's going to be different. But you know they're a cheater. You know they're going to cheat on you. You know they have cheated on you. Every time you go back, they cheat on you. Yeah, but we've figured it out. Like, that's Trump with Iran. He's coming off pretty pathetic, actually. And Bill Herrick was right when he was here, the oil guy. Finish them. That's the only way this is going to end. Either just quit and say, we're done, it didn't work, sorry, or finish them. You can't negotiate with these people. They're known liars. They're proven liars. They don't have any interest in making deals. They are out for the death of the West. And it doesn't matter which guy is in there. There's no guy you can work with that is going to be in there. And yet Trump just keeps putting this stuff out, and he makes himself look like a complete idiot. Here's what he wrote over the weekend. The USA is locked and loaded and ready to go against the Islamic Republic of Iran at levels of military terror, strength, and power not seen since World War II. I am so sick about hearing about our military power and our military might and our prowess. If you're not going to use it, what the hell difference does it make? And you've clearly proven. Remember the slogan, taco, Trump always chickens out. That's what keeps happening here. Despite this, we have just been asked by Iran and other Middle Eastern countries to hold off on any attack in that the parameters of a deal has been agreed to. Wasn't that what the whole MOU was? The deal was agreed to? How long did that last? About 3 days. Nobody believes Hamas is going to stop firing at Israel. Nobody believes that the Iranians are going to stop funding Hamas. Nobody believes that Israel is not going to respond when attacked. Nobody believes that Iran is going to stop funding terrorists. Nobody believes Iran is going to stop firing missiles or destroying ships. Just stop. It's just like with Sanders. Just say, I'm sorry, I messed up. Nobody believes you're going to take out Iran. It's ridiculous. This would include the immediate, complete, and total opening of the Strait of Hormuz. Wasn't that what the last deal was? Didn't I see these exact same words the last time, a month ago, 2 months ago, whatever it was? And an end to Iran's nuclear threat. It's like the Bill Murray movie. It's Groundhog Day. Based on this request, I have agreed for the future benefit of the world and likewise the survival of a successful and prosperous Iran to cancel the attack. Why do you care about the survival of a prosperous Iran? They hate us. They want us dead. You're never going to put somebody in there that's going to like us. They're never going to agree to that. Subject to being able to rapidly make a deal. 5 months. We've been at this for 5 months. You are not close to anything. You look like an idiot, sir. The country of Israel joins me in this commitment. Get to work, everybody, and get it done. So that being said, John Kennedy, Senator of Louisiana, he was on Meet the Press over the weekend, and he got asked about this, another supposed deal from Trump, and he said the most obvious thing. The Iranians can't be trusted. Trump can't seem to figure this out, but John Kennedy can. The Iranians can't be trusted, which is why all of this is so stupid. Here's audio for John Kennedy, Senator of Louisiana.
Do you believe a deal can be reached rapidly, Senator?
Well, I hope so. I'm always willing to give peace a chance. Respectfully, I would remind President Trump of 3 things. Number one, the only reason that Iran is coming to the table, if indeed they are, is because Israel and the United States of America have torn them a new ashtray. Number two, no deal is just fine. Not preferred, but not preferable, but it's fine. A bad deal isn't. Number three, he has to remember that the Iranian government learned to lie before they learned to talk. And they're more than mildly insane. Dealing with them is like dealing with Son of Sam or Charles Manson. Whatever he does, do not release the sanctions, stopping their sale of oil, or remove the blockade until we see Iran take firm actions to open the strait.
He's right. They're never going to do that. They're never going to abide by everything. They never have. 50 years of this stuff. You know what they are. You have 2 options. They're the same options I laid out in the very first segment I ever did on this program. Ignore them. Try to rein them in economically. Use your intelligence to make sure they don't get a nuclear weapon to bad actors. Do everything you can in your power without military intervention to prevent them through sanctions of getting one. Or blow them to smithereens. We're 5 months on. By the way, this is what, March, April, May, June, July. Well, this is month 5 of our program. 109 episodes. And we're still at the same point we started the program with. All right, one last piece of audio. So Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the Health and Human Services Secretary, he was on CNN with Dana Bash. And she was trying to grill him. The conversation actually started, I think, about the measles and the lack of vaccines. People are getting vaccine hesitancy because of COVID. And she goes at him basically trying to say that it's his fault, that he's keeping people from getting vaccines. That's why everybody's getting the measles. It's all him. It's all the right-wing conspiracy people. And it turned into a conversation about COVID. Because RFK Jr. was like, lady, I'm not being lectured by you and CNN about vaccines based on what we saw during COVID. And they get into this huge back and forth, and it's absolutely glorious. Take a listen.
Doctors about scientists. Can you show me one study?
Yes, I can.
That shows that
I can.
Children were protected by the COVID vaccine.
I can tell you that there
vaccine did more good than harm to children. Can you show me one study that shows that?
I can tell you that when it comes to the vaccine, there have been studies that show that because of vaccine disinformation, there could have been 100 to 200,000 lives in the U.S. saved. But because people didn't get the vaccine, that's why. I'm not saying that it entirely.
You are saying nonsense. You are saying something that you cannot show me.
Okay.
A single study.
I am not saying nonsense.
You are talking what somebody told you.
Excuse me.
And you cite me the study. What study?
No, what studies are you talking about? You're talking about studies that actually don't exist. I want to talk about.
Cite me the study that you're talking about.
I am not here to defend.
Studies. Cite me the study.
This is not productive. I am not here to defend all of the. Let me finish.
You're talking nonsense. You're making assertions you can't support, and then when I call you on them, you're telling me that I'm arguing.
Okay. Do you want to talk about assertions that you can't support? I'll get there in a second. Let me just say, for the record, that I am not saying that the entire way that the COVID reaction was accurate. It was a scary time, and people made mistakes. Absolutely.
You were scaring people.
Why are you saying that?
Because that was the job of CNN.
Okay.
Was to put the chyrons up about how many people are dying.
We were trying to we were listening to the leaders in this country, including the president, who had a daily press conference explaining what was going on and trying to listen.
Were you listening?
I want to talk to measles.
Actually, were you reading the
measles
yourself?
The measles cases.
Good on him. That's so good. Because all those news networks, they were all peddling garbage. It was all garbage. And the politicians used the garbage peddling because anytime somebody stood up like us and was like, that's crap. I'm looking at the data. That's crap. They turned you into public enemy number one. And a lot of people didn't want to deal with it, so they wilted in a corner. Good on him. They were wrong about everything during COVID. All of it. Every single bit of it they were wrong about. That stuff they did with kids who were almost of no threat with COVID was stupid. It was gross. It scarred kids for years. Not letting them go to school, not letting them be around their friends, not letting them go to people's houses, not letting them go out and be social. It was stupid. Young people were, unless they had very, very specific comorbidities, were of almost no risk if they got COVID. Hey, get your kid his 9th booster. Good on him not letting her get off the hook. That's disgusting that they tried to. It was a scary time. We didn't know. No, you guys were in the peddling business. You were peddling a desired outcome. And anybody that didn't conform to your narrative, you demonized. I know. I dealt with it on an almost daily basis. And you were wrong. You weren't trying to give out information. You were trying to force people into behaviors that proved, for the most part, totally ineffective. Hey, many homeowners are sitting on more equity than they realize. If you've owned your home for a few years or more, now may be a good time to explore your options. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage is a local mortgage advisor helping Central Indiana homeowners refinance to access cash for home improvements, consolidate higher interest debt, or simply review whether a better loan structure is available. Gary believes every homeowner deserves personalized mortgage reviews, not a one-size-fits-all solution from a call center. Visit loansbygary.homes, loansbygary.homes to learn more. Gary's been a huge supporter of our show, been with us from the beginning. Gary Tedrow, Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 179207, an equal housing lender. All right, guys, we got so much local left to get to. We've got, we've got Indians in Indiana more concerned about what's going on in India than Indiana, which doesn't really give a lot of credence to the assimilation argument or that they really are happy to be here. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about Rod Bray. I mean, we touched on this very briefly. The news broke while we were on the air. Rod Bray is stepping down as the head of the Senate. Now somebody has announced that he's going to run for the seat. We'll talk about what that means. I think a lot of people getting their hopes up for nothing. Plus the lieutenant governor, he's just pulling stuff out of his ass again as usual and saying things that can't actually happen and making everybody else's life more difficult. All of that to get to. Coming up in just a little bit. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
I'm Anthony Gary. I started Indy Dwell Real Estate because too many friends, family members, and neighbors had real estate experiences that lacked compassion, explanation, and expertise. You deserve someone in your corner with the heart of a teacher, simplifying every step of the buying or selling process. When you hire me, you get me. Start to finish, you'll never be handed off. No stress, no surprises, just the expert guidance and results you deserve. Anthony Gary, Indy Dwell Real Estate. Call or text 317-756-1159. 317-756-1159.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the Central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance, so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
With a lakefront view in beautiful Brazil, the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage is a little out of the way, but totally worth the trip. Down home, made from scratch food, just like the good old days at Grandma's. When you visit the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage, you'll leave more at peace than when you came in. Open 5 to 8 for dinner on Friday and Saturday, and Sundays 11 to 1:30 for the buffet. You must experience the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage. Call 812-443-3003. 812-443-3003. Hey guys, welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't done so yet, help us out. Help us grow the show. Please hit that thumbs up button. Really does help us grow the Rob Kendall Show. We got a ton of Indiana news, politics, and government to get to. Before we do that, a bunch of you saw this over the weekend. Our friends at Double D's, man, that rain was crazy over the weekend. And our friend at Double D's, they had to shut down a little bit early on Saturday because they got flooded. I talked to Tina, one of the owners. She said to tell everybody, no panic. They got everything solved. They're getting it fixed, and they will be open regular business hours Wednesday through Saturday. I know a bunch of you were very concerned about Double D's. They're one of our fabulous sponsors here. Tina wanted to make sure everybody knew that there's going to be no disruption, or at least they're not planning on having any disruption to the business. They're going to be open Wednesday through Saturday for lunch and dinner. Of course, Double D's, authentic wood-smoked Memphis-style barbecue. Great opportunity for you to check out lunch or dinner. When it comes to their barbecue, they take it very serious. They've been the winner of Best Ribs and Best Sauce at Rib Fest in Hendricks County. They are all about the decor, the atmosphere. It's Elvis-themed. Tina worked at Graceland. It's a great time, great food. I know many of you love it. And, man, I was very concerned when I saw they got flooded with all that rain that we got over the weekend. But they said, don't worry. They got it all figured out. They're going to be open. They're planning on being open for regular business hours Wednesday through Saturday. Double D's right there on 40 and 39 there in Clayton. Ribs, brisket, and more. See the full menu for yourself. DDBBQ317.com. DDBBQ317.com. All right, coming up here in just a little bit, our buddy Kenny Britt of Britt's Picks is going to be with us. I told you guys we're almost football season, and football season means having some fun with bets on football season. And Kenny and I, we've got a show coming up here coming up mid-August. It's going to be called Pigskin Plays and Props. It's a 30-minute sports betting show we're going to bring you each week. Just have some fun and talk about some of the games, some of the picks we like, some of the things we're looking at. And it'll drop every Wednesday morning. At least that's our schedule. It's going to drop every Wednesday morning. And we'll do college, we'll do NFL. So Kenny's going to be with us. We're going to talk a little bit about the sports betting industry, about the rise of sports betting in the United States since the Supreme Court allowed it to be available in all 50 states, and maybe get a little preview of what are we looking at this year as it relates to college football, NFL. I know many of you have some fun with the sports betting. So Kenny Britt will be with us here in just a little bit from Britt's Picks to talk about Pigskin Plays and Props, our sports betting show we got coming up here in just a couple of weeks. Before we get to that, though, one of the major issues with immigration is not just illegal immigration. It is the lack of assimilation from legal immigration. Illegal immigration is its own very serious problem. People breaking the law to come into our country, and it needs to be dealt with. And one of the great things that I love about what I do is I get to judge every issue on its own merit. I don't have any sides. I don't have any teams. I'm on your team. I play for you. And so, to me, when I look at immigration, it's clearly not working. What we're doing in this country is clearly not working. Number one, we have been abhorrent at allowing people to illegally enter the country. I've always subscribed to the theory. I heard it years ago, and I've always used this. I am a believer in legal immigration. I believe in a very big wall with a very wide gate. And what I mean by that is I believe in protecting our borders. I believe in knowing who's coming into the country. I believe it is okay to say, no, there's a way we do things, and if you're not willing to do them, you don't get in. At the same time, I believe in the idea of the wide gate, which means if you want to come here and you're willing to do certain things, then we want to be a country that welcomes you. The problem is a major part of the wide gate or entering through the wide gate is you assimilate. You want to be a part of us. You adapt to us. You do as we do. When you join a club, which is basically what becoming a U.S. citizen is, you're joining a club of 340 million people, probably about 325 million legal people. you're coming in. It's no different than the Antelope Club or the Columbia Club, famous Indianapolis clubs that people join. They're rules. And one of the rules should be you adapt us. If I join the Columbia Club tomorrow, which is the big club on the Circle downtown Indianapolis, it is sort of the premier social club in the greater downtown area. I accept that there are rules. There's a dress code. There's a behavior code. You got to do so much of this and that. And if you don't want to do that, you don't join the club. I wouldn't go into the Columbia Club and become a member and go, okay, now you're going to start doing things my way. The problem is there's a lot of people in this country who have come here legally, either through gaining citizenship or their temporary status, and they want everybody to be like them. They want to take all the things that they fled and they want to bring that with them. They want all the spoils of America, but you got to do it the way they do it. And that's a major issue, and it doesn't get talked about enough. And in many ways, it's just as big of an issue as illegal immigration. One of the phrases I hear a lot from people who have concerns about immigration is taking over. That people who have come to this country, both legally and illegally, are trying to overrun our culture, our language, our traditions with theirs. It's not an invalid concern. It's not. It doesn't make you an ist. It doesn't make you a phobe. It means we are America. We do things a certain way here. We've created an environment you want to be a part of. And yet people want all the spoils of this great opportunity, but they don't want to adapt. And here is the latest example, and it should raise everybody's eyebrows. So this was reported by several people. I saw this all over the internet. Our old pal, Indie Reporter, was one of the people who had the video posted. Indie Reporter will be with us tomorrow. We're going to talk about a whole host of issues. And it was video of a miles-long Khalistan car rally that snaked across Indianapolis. I mean, this video, it appeared to be miles long of these cars. They're honking, the people are shouting, they're flying these yellow Khalistani flags. And these people are Sikhs promoting the upcoming Khalistan referendum vote on August 16th, where participants will cast ballots on the question of seceding from the Indian Union. Now, in case you're like, Rob, what in the world are you talking about? I'm going to try to do a very brief explanation of this. I could probably spend 30 minutes talking about it, just telling you what it is. So I'm trying to do a very, very, very Reader's Digest version of this so I can get back to what's actually most important, which is the lack of assimilation. So in case you're like, Rob, what in the world are you talking about? The Khalistan referendum is an unofficial, non-binding referendum organized by the Sikhs for Justice across multiple countries regarding the potential creation of a separate Sikh state from within Indian territory. Those of you who don't know, Sikhs are an Indian-based religion. So you have these people in America. You have these people in Indiana. You have these people who one would assume want to be a part of America because they came to America willingly. And yet their whole focus is on a referendum related to India. And this you've seen these signs posted in communities all over central Indiana, including in Brownsburg, where I live. They're doing this, backing up this traffic, which is doing nothing but, I mean, guys, it looked like it was for miles of these Sikhs shouting, much of it not in English, flying these Khalistani referendum flags. And this is how Indie Reporter described it, and I thought this was pretty accurate. Zero regard for traffic or other people on the highway. This is a major safety issue, and nothing happened. These did not look like people that were focused on America. They didn't look like people who were focused on assimilation. They looked like people who were benefiting from America, who were more focused on what was going on in their country of origin. If you're an American, or you desire to be an American, which you would assume most of these people have espoused to be or are, why are you so focused on a referendum in your old country? You are here. I mean, these videos that these people are posting, they're not speaking English. We speak English here. You wanted to be a part of us. What we are seeing with this focus, this obsession on this Khalistani referendum appears to be a complete lack of desire to assimilate. Be an American. You want to come to this country. This is why people have so much concern about immigration. It does appear in many ways to be a takeover. Not people who want to assimilate, not people who want to adapt, not people who are focused on us and America. Look, it's pretty simple. Be an American, focus on America, or leave. I don't think that makes you an ist. I don't think that makes you a phobe. I welcome the people who want to come to this country, want to assimilate, want to work, want to pay their bills, and want to be an American. And that doesn't mean that you stop traffic or you slow down traffic or you post signs all over communities about an Indian referendum. Be American or don't. It's not that hard. Hey, guys, do you have a dog? We don't have a fenced-in yard. Your HOA won't allow a fence. Worried about having to watch your furry friend anytime you go outside? Avoid the blazing hot summers and freezing cold winters with All American Dog Fence. You know, they used to be Indiana Dog Fence, but the owners, Kelly and Jeff, they loved the business so much, they bought it. They're customers, and they said, this is great. All American Dog Fence is the cost-effective, easy-to-use in-ground fence system designed to keep your dog secure and give you peace of mind anytime they're outside. All American Dog Fence is locally owned. Owners Kelly and Jeff have 3 dogs themselves, and they so believed in the product, as I said, they bought the business. Their products, their Pet Stop products, are backed by a lifetime warranty and made right here in the United States. Call All American Dog Fence at 317-862-6606. 317-862-6606, or visit their website at allamericandogfence.com, allamericandogfence.com. And by the way, what an incredible deal. If you mention the Rob Kendall Show, say, hey, heard about you guys in the Rob Kendall Show. Mention the Rob Kendall Show, you're going to get an incredible $200 off your All-American Dog Fence product purchase. All-American Dog Fence prides themselves on their cost, beating the big guys on that, and their customer service, certainly beating them on that. 317-862-6606. Call or text 317-862-6606. All right. Let's talk about the dangers of having lawmakers who don't know their head from their ass and just shooting off at the mouth and saying things they know nothing about. Shall we? The best example of this, and a guy who does this all the time, is the Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith. Micah Beckwith, and I am as guilty of this as anyone, is a con artist. And I believed it. And one of the things somebody told me a while ago about con artists is they said, con artists, good ones, they take your greatest desire and they make you believe they can make it possible. And in the case of Micah Beckwith with me, he knew my passion, my focus, my energy was property taxes, making sure that you could afford to stay in your home. And Micah recognized, hey, this guy's got some juice. He's got some ability to sway people. I need to buddy up with him. And he made me believe that he was going to go in there and he was going to be a fighter. He was going to fight on property taxes. He was going to fight on utility bills. He was going to fight to dismantle corruption in state government, like with the IEDC, because he wanted my support. And he got it. And since he's gotten into public office, he's proven he has no desire to fight on anything. He wants attention He craves attention, which is why I'm loath to even do this segment. But I think it's important to talk about what we're about to talk about because a lot of politicians do this. They don't do it to the level Beckwith does, but they do this, and you need to spot it, and we need to reject it. But guys like Micah Beckwith, they aren't interested in fixing problems. They're not interested in fighting for you. They're not interested in taking on tough things. They're interested in their own celebrity, their own attention. And so, and you see Micah do this all the time, where he doesn't dive into things that he actually has some ability to fix or have sway or influence over as lieutenant governor. He leans into things that there is zero chance they will change, but it will draw attention to himself. Like when he got into the Muslim prayer stuff a couple weeks ago. It's a local issue. Local governments set their sound ordinances, noise ordinances, and noise ordinances apply for everyone. If someone's in violation of it, enforce it. If they're not, it is what it is. Local governments decide whether they're going to allow a mosque to be built. If you feel strongly about that, there's a way to stop it. Micah Beckwith, as lieutenant governor, knows you're not going to shut down the Muslim religion. He knows that you're not going to shut down the prayer calls. That's a local ordinance decision. But he wants you to be fired up about it. He wants you to pay attention to him. So he's not calling on things that he actually can have sway over. You know, it's the property tax conversation, disappeared. Utility bills, not a word. Tolling, nothing. The IDC, which he literally campaigned against, he's one of their biggest supporters now, including he's also for using $700 million of public money to go to the Bears Stadium, the toll tax, because he was all in on the Bears Stadium. He never wants to take on the topics that actually matter because that would involve work, and he's going to avoid that like the plague, as most of these politicians do. Most of these politicians are about showcasing how they recognize problems they have no intention to solve and make you think that they're on your side. The latest example of this was a post that he made the other day. And by the way, Micah admitted to me when remember how the whole property tax thing went down? Where Braun came out and said he was going to sign this bad bill, which became Senate Bill 1, Senate Enrolled Act 1. And remember how the lieutenant governor just disappeared for days on it? Now, he had time to go to a Charlie Kirk event, but he couldn't say anything about the property tax bill. And then he went on Hammer and Nigel and like a scared little kid refused to take a position because he didn't want to make Braun mad. And then you guys went ballistic on him. And then finally over the weekend, he was like, yeah, I guess I think Braun should veto the property tax bill. Like 6 days later. Well, in the process of that, he showed the mask got pulled back very briefly. Micah's very good about never lifting the mask back. But he didn't like all the negative attention he was getting because it wasn't from leftists. Micah craves egging on the left because he thinks it makes him look good. In this case, he was getting negative attention from conservatives. And so he called me repeatedly. And I was so pissed off at him for a period of time I refused to take his call. And that made him mad. I'd let it go to voicemail. And he didn't like that because Micah needs to be in control. And finally, I took his call, and during the call, he admitted to me he doesn't really know anything about property taxes. You ran on this for a year. How could you not know? How could you not know whether this was going to be good or bad? You ran on this. You promised to fix this. How would you know how to fix it if you don't know anything about it? And that's when it dawned on me. That was in the show American Greed. There's always a moment where the victim realizes they've been conned. Usually there's no money in their account. Usually the money stops being replaced. They stop getting the check. That was my American Greed moment where I realized, oh my gosh, he didn't take my money. He just took my dignity. But here's the latest example of this, of Micah not solving any real problems, but wanting you to believe that he's invested in trying to help you without either any clue. I mean, it's either he's so clueless about state government or how our government works in this state, or it's a malicious intent to deceive you. I don't see what any other option would be. So Micah posted this on, and again, the reason, and I'm loath to give Beckwith attention because that's what he wants. Now, you notice the difference is he never gets mouthy back with me. He'll do it with a lot of people. He won't do it with me. I'm loath to give him attention because I know that's what he craves. But there are so many other politicians out there that do this. I think it's a great opportunity to show you how these people work. So he puts out, after the Fauci hearing, he puts this out. Many have asked my office what the state can do to prosecute Fauci. First of all, I don't believe for a second that a bunch of people were clamoring to Micah Beckwith to find out what the state could do about Fauci. I don't think a bunch of people clamor to Beckwith for anything because he's given away all of his power because he didn't want to work. Our attorney general presently cannot bring charges against Fauci. Only county, and this is where we get to the meat. Only county prosecutors have the exclusive right to bring criminal charges. Instead of just letting things slide like conservatives do so many times in these repeated situations, I am calling on our county prosecutors to charge Fauci criminally, or for the General Assembly to give the Attorney General additional criminal charging authority. We owe it to the millions of people across our country and right here in Indiana who've had their lives destroyed by Fauci's mishandling of COVID. Sounds good, doesn't it? I'm calling on county prosecutors to charge Anthony Fauci criminally. Sounds great, right? Look at Micah. He's standing up for us. That's what he wants you to believe. Now, he knows it'll do two things. One, it'll get a bunch of people who don't know how the system works to think he's a great guy. And it'll enrage the left, which will help his clicks and his comments and his likes. That's what people have to realize. When you comment on Micah's stuff, when you engage, that's what he wants. He wants to be a reality TV star. That's his goal. You're giving him what he wants. The problem with what he put, county prosecutors don't have the ability to prosecute Fauci. This is the problem with Beckwith posting this nonsense. It's dangerous. Because he starts putting other people potentially in danger because then everybody gets mad. Hey, my loved one died from COVID. I lost my job because of COVID. I lost my job because of Fauci. And what Beckwith has done with this post is he has put a target on the backs of county prosecutors who don't have the ability to prosecute Fauci. And either he doesn't know that, which is scary as hell, that the lieutenant governor for the state of Indiana doesn't know that county prosecutors don't have the ability to prosecute Fauci, or he's doing it maliciously to help himself and put other people in harm's way, potentially. If there's a third option, let me know. Here's what, and this is the problem, here's what it forced a county prosecutor to do, because he puts this crap out there and then the county prosecutors get a barrage of calls and emails. They probably actually do get calls and emails saying, why don't you prosecute Fauci? So Lauren Delp is the Hendricks County prosecutor, and no doubt because of this idiot making this post, he had to put out his own comment talking about how he doesn't have the ability to prosecute Fauci. Here's the law in Indiana. He writes, Indiana Code 35-41-4-5. In a case in which the alleged conduct constitutes an offense within the current jurisdiction of Indiana and another jurisdiction, a former prosecutor in any other jurisdiction is a bar to a subsequent prosecution for the same conduct in Indiana. Indiana Code prohibits prosecutors from seeking successive prosecutions, not the U.S. or Indiana constitutions. It's not a double jeopardy issue, it's a statutory one. Likewise, a preemptive pardon likely wouldn't stand in the way of a state prosecution, but it would still be heavily litigated. What is fatal, though, is if another state fully prosecutes, nearly 20 states are already in the process. It's pretty cut and dry. County prosecutors in Indiana cannot prosecute Anthony Fauci. But this dumbass, because he craves attention more than solving problems for you, and he avoids work like the plague, what's he do all day? Puts this crap out there, and then it forces county prosecutors, instead of doing their jobs, to respond to it. And it is not just Micah Beckwith who does stuff like this. Remember during COVID, all these lawmakers, yeah, it sucks. The governor's shutting the state down. Somebody should do something about it. Yeah, that's horrible. Why don't you do something about it? We live in a world where our politicians view themselves as celebrities now. And in viewing themselves as celebrities, they crave attention above working for you. They're not doing what's right. They're not fighting for you. They're not going to battle on things that will actually help your life. They're going to bat. They're putting out things they have no control over or can't stop or can't change whatsoever, and then bitching about it and hoping you don't see the difference. This is why things never get any better. This is why things never change. We have politicians who are completely invested in themselves and their own benefit, and there's never any ramification for it. I mean, he looks like a total idiot. I knew this. The radio guy, the podcaster guy. How is it that I would know this and the lieutenant governor doesn't? What does that say about him? What does it say about the people that work around him? All the people, the millions of dollars of staff, and there was no person he could go to and say, hey, do our county prosecutors have the ability to prosecute Fauci? What's he do? He puts this out there. It's the equivalent of taking a dump in the middle of someone's living room and looking at it and going, hey, somebody ought to clean that up. It forces other county prosecutors like the Hendricks County prosecutor to point out, because he no doubt then gets a bunch of flack over it, to say, I can't do that. And you should know that. All right, we're going to talk to Kenny Britt from Britt's Picks in just a little bit. We got a big show coming up starting next. No, not next week. Is it 2 weeks? All these days. Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. We got the sports betting show. NFL, college football. All these days run together. I don't know about you guys, right? All the days run together. Before we get to that and a whole bunch more, though, Honeysuckle Hill Bistro in Brazil. On the water, scenic view. Great, amazing, made from scratch. Hoosier grub food, as they like to call it. But, you know, the property is about more than just the bistro. The restaurant is fabulous. There's also the cottage. The cottage, which you can stay at, which you can reserve on the water, in the woods, same scenic, peaceful view, offers 3 bedrooms, 2 baths with spa-like tile showers, full kitchen, living room with a fireplace, laundry facilities, and a full deck overlooking the lake. And Andy, one of the owners, who built the fabulous Rob Kendall Show sign, delivers breakfast to you each day, each morning, 8:30 a.m. when you stay at the cottage in a picnic basket. Perfect weekend away, scenic Honeysuckle Hill property on the water in beautiful Brazil. Book by visiting the website. Honeysuckle Hill Bistro on the Google machine. Just put Honeysuckle Hill Bistro into your Google machine. You can see the cottage. They give you a little virtual tour. See the full menu for the bistro and more. Reserve your getaway at the cottage. 812-443-3003. 812-443-3003. All right. Also want to point out our third hour brought to you by the great John Rust. We cannot do this fabulous program without him and his generosity. And speaking of John Rust, don't forget, big party coming up on October the 3rd at the palatial Rust Estate in Seymour. And you, the listeners, you, the viewers of the Rob Kendall Show, you are invited. There's going to be patriotic music. There's going to be an antique car show. There's going to be lunch catered by Double D's. It's going to be cake for Jason's birthday. I'm going to give a speech and a whole bunch more. Do you know October 3rd is Jason's birthday? All of that. October the 3rd. The event starts at noon at the Palatial Rust Estate in Seymour. Seymour's Oktoberfest going on down there as well. And all you got to do to be a part of the event is RSVP. rustforamerica@gmail.com. rustforamerica@gmail.com. Tell John, here's my name. Here's how many people I'm bringing with me. And that's it. And then, bam, you're on the list. Free cake, free Double D's, free car show. And you get to hang out with us. You get to hang out with us. The RSVPs have been gangbusters. We're getting our goal at the end of all this is 200 Rob Kendall Show listeners and viewers. We were, as of Friday, right at 100. So I'm sure we're probably past that now. Come hang out with us. Come have fun. RSVP, rustforamerica@gmail.com. All right, let's go ahead and take a break. We got a third hour to go. Kenny Britt of Britt's Picks is going to be with us. We got the big sports betting show coming up. We're going to talk about the lay of the landscape of sports betting. It's NFL time. It's college football time. Those bets are going to be coming out. Where are we at in America with sports betting? We'll tell you about the show we've got. We'll talk about, a whole bunch of stuff to get to. Don't go anywhere. Third hour's upon us. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
If authentic wood-smoked barbecue is your thing, Double D's Barbecue in Clayton is the place for you. Owners Dennis and Tina Duncan, along with their son Garrett, are from Memphis. So when it comes to barbecue, they're not screwing around. No pellet smokers, no roasters, just authentic wood-smoked Memphis-style barbecue. All of Double D's food is cooked fresh daily, and it's all made from scratch. Double D's Barbecue, located at 40 and 39 in Clayton, is open all day, Wednesday through Saturday, but get there early because once they're sold out, they're done. Check out the full menu, ribs, brisket, and more at ddbbq317.com.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Is the inside of your house a total mess, like a complete dumpster fire? Call AJ's Picture Perfect Cleaning. When you walk into your house after using AJ's Picture Perfect Cleaning, you will see and smell the difference. They take great pride in their workers and treat your home like their own. All cleaners pass through a background check and drug screening. Call today and mention you heard about AJ's Picture Perfect Cleaning on the Rob Kendall Show, and you will get an incredible $50 off your first clean. AJ's Picture Perfect Cleaning serves all of Central Indiana. Book your appointment today by calling 317-530-8148. 317-530-8148. Hey guys, welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Football is back. Thursday night Hall of Fame game, and that means sports betting is about to come with it. And with that in mind, we're bringing you we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna bring you a sports betting show starting middle of August. And with us, the guy that's gonna do it with me, Kenny Britt, the great Kenny Britt. Britt's Picks. Kenny Britt, hello.
This is sad, and from February on, we look forward to this day.
That's right.
Is it?
So, we've got a sports betting show.
Yep.
I think we're gonna drop it on Wednesdays. We're gonna record it on Tuesdays. Give Jason time to get everything together. I think August the 19th is gonna be the first day our show's gonna drop, and it's gonna be called Pigskin Plays and Props.
I like it. It sounds good.
And so it's gonna be football season.
Yep.
We're gonna primarily talk about football, college, NFL. It's going to be fun. Just a little 30-minute show where you, the expert, because you do this, like you're serious business for you. Me, I'm having fun. You're eating or not eating. You're going to tell us, and you done good, brother.
Good.
You're going to tell us about some of your favorite picks in the college and the NFL each week.
Right. Yeah, and I'm just super excited. We've been, looking forward, like I said, looking forward to this since February, and men love football. We live for it, and I'm ready to go, man. I mean, I'm fired up, ready to go. I already got my notes.
He does. He's got like a page full of notes. Okay, a couple of sports betting questions, because it was obviously about 2018, I think they started unleashing. The Supreme Court said, hey, Las Vegas, Nevada, you don't have a monopoly on sports betting. States can do their own sports betting laws, etc. Is it still ascending? Is there still more interest? Has it pulled back a little bit? Where is the sports betting industry? Because you live in that.
That's interesting. I just read an article yesterday that they are bringing in $80 billion a year, which is more than gaming, all these other entertainment values, it's more than all those other entertainment values.
The sports betting industry is $80 billion a year
that they've accounted for.
Yeah. Oh,
so
and they've accounted for something. Yeah. That's just, it's unbelievable. And one of the things that's great about sports betting, you and I have talked about this over the years. There's guys like you who do it all the time, right? Like you need to win.
Right. Yes.
And the people who work with you need to win.
Right.
But there's also guys like me who I might take an NFL game on a Thursday, like say the Hall of Fame game coming up. Now, if you bet on, do you have a problem if you bet on preseason football? That's always been this theory. Do you have a problem if you bet on preseason football?
I can honestly say, as God is my witness, I do not bet on preseason football. My clients ask, my VIP guys, no, I'm not doing it. 80% of the games do go under, but no, absolutely not. Now, if you want to throw $1 on it, sure, $5, but I do not bet preseason.
Well, that's how I always look at sports betting is you can take a game on a Thursday that you have no interest in, just pick two random teams, and you put $2 or $3 on it, and for the next 3 hours, I'm invested.
Right.
And where else are you getting, even if you do $5,
right,
2 or 3 hours of entertainment for $5?
Can't do it anywhere else. I mean, that's the only place you can do it. But I don't do it.
Well, you can't expect it. I mean, you don't even know who the players are, for crying out loud.
Right.
Okay. Pigskins, Plays, and Props.
Right.
That is going to be the sports betting show. It's going to debut August the 19th. And we'll have some fabulous sponsors we'll be telling you about for that as well. You guys will be able to get it the same way, just like Statehouse Happenings. It'll drop. It'll be on our videos tab on our YouTube page. It'll also be on all the on-demand platforms. It's going to pop up there, the Apple, the iHeart, Spotify. And we're just going to have fun with it, right? It's going to be 30 minutes. We're going to get in the college ranks. We're going to talk about some games of the week. Kenny's going to give us some props that he likes. We'll do the NFL. I'm going to play along with you.
All right.
We're going to see if the guy who does it for fun can hang. But let's start with college football.
Yep.
Are you in on the IU madness this year? Are you buying the deal that the Hoosiers can repeat?
Yes, and
you are.
I've been an IU fan for 45 years. A long struggle.
Okay, let me rephrase the question. Are you doing it with your heart or your wallet that you're in on IU?
I'm doing it with my heart. I think they've got the blueprint. Nick Saban 2 years ago said something really interesting and it stuck to me. Yes, you got the NIL, but you still got to buy the right players.
That's right.
And Cignetti buys the right players. These other guys are having trouble with that philosophy.
Do you, if you're not betting on a game, do you get enjoyment out of it?
I do, but sadly, betting adds a lot more enjoyment to it. But no, I get enjoyment, and I don't bet every game. I mean, if there's a Monday night game and I don't like it, I don't bet it.
Yeah,
I've learned that over the years.
So you can't like I'll bet a game all the time where I don't have any, real feel or vested interest. I'm just, hey, if I lose it, it's $5 and I get the 3 hours of enjoyment. You're not in it with that. Like if you don't feel a game, you're not doing it.
Not the game itself. Now let me retrace a little bit. I'll do like some prop plays on player props, just to, like you said, draw the interest.
Yeah.
But to my clients, if I don't love the game and I'm not putting my hard-earned money on it, I'm not giving it out to my VIP clients.
Kenny Britt, our guest, Britt's Picks. We got the sports betting show coming up beginning August the 19th. Pigskin, Plays, and Props. That's going to be the name of the show. We're going to talk college football. We're going to talk about the NFL. We might sprinkle a golf bet or two in there so often.
I'm all there.
But it's just fun. It's just for, it's just an excuse for us to have some fun, talk about sports. And so I'm curious with you, is there pressure doing what you do? Like, people ask your advice on stuff. Nobody's asking my advice on anything, but people actually ask your advice on stuff. Do you have pressure with that?
Absolutely. There's pressure. And you also got to have 100% transparency. I've had a terrible week in baseball this week.
Yeah.
I've had a great year, but a terrible week. And I think most people understand that there's ebbs and flows. It's a route, not a sprint. And I think most people get that. I think you've got one or two guys that sign up for the weekend. If you have a bad weekend, they're going to get mad. But over 4 years in business, I've never had a losing season in any sport. Yep.
Now, here's always my disclaimer with all of this with the sport. And it's to me, it's true with any sports betting show or any of this stuff. We're doing it for fun. If you say, hey, those guys might be onto something, and you bet and you win, great. I don't need a thank you from you because we're just having fun. Right. If you lose, though, I don't want to hear about it. We're just giving you our thoughts. I am just a casual football. That's why I think it's going to be fun to see me against you on these picks this year.
I can't wait. Really, I really can't wait. I love it.
I asked our old pal Jason Hammer this years ago because, he's sort of on your level of being into it.
Yeah, very much so.
What's sort of watching all these games? What sort of advantage does it give you? Like, do you feel if you and I, because there's some people say, well, it's all just luck. And to the extent there is human involvement, it is. What sort of advantage, like percentage-wise, do you think you have over a guy like me because you watch all of these games?
Oh, I think there's a great value in watching the games. Absolutely. You kind of see what the trends of quarterbacks, of play callers, offensive coordinators, head coaches going for it, kicking, punting. So I think there's a great advantage to watching them. And I also tell my wife that. So I got to watch this game. It's part of my livelihood. So I don't know if she believes that.
Do you, Kenny Britt's picks, our guest, do you think that sports wagering has been good for society? The legalizing of sports betting has been good for society? Has it been productive for society? I mean, I obviously have great restraint around my bets.
Right.
You lose a $5 bet. Okay, right, whatever. Right. And, I am a couple times a week, whatever. Are most people doing it like that? Like, what is your overall opinion of how legalized sports betting has been for America?
My overall opinion that a lot of people I don't think understand, I want to get this out there, legalized sports betting makes the game fair because there are so many businesses out there and algorithms that we've seen it in the news all year. If something looks shady, they're going to find it and they're going to suspend these guys. There's been several NBA players that are going to prison for shaving points and stuff. So legalized sports betting is good for society as far as making the games fair, making sure there's nothing funny going on. There are people that have addictions, and that's a sad thing. It's just like anything else, like food, drugs, drinking. People have addictions. So like you've got to show some restraint and, do it within your means. And I think a lot of people do that.
How prevalent was sports betting before it was legal in all of the states?
For me, it was prevalent because I can remember literally as a 10-year-old sitting at the kitchen table back in the 80s with my dad in the sports page, and he's calling his bookie, getting the lines, and he would let me make a $5 bet, which back then a $5 bet was a lot of money.
Yeah.
So in my life has always been prevalent. I don't think it's been real prevalent unless you're talking like Super Bowl, March Madness in society, but that's obviously changed dramatically in the last 6 years.
Okay, you want to give us any, because our first show in college football, they call it week 0. Yep. There's like a special week of games. There's only a handful, and then we roll into it. We're going to do a sort of a preseason show, and then we'll have a week 0 show, and by that time we'll be into the NFL as well. So you want to give our audience like a teaser for the preseason show, like something maybe on the college or NFL you're looking at this year where you're like, this is going to be interesting to see what happens here.
I've got the college and pro. What I'm looking at in the college game, we talked about this last year a lot in our group texting, is Penn State. We love the new coach from Iowa State. And tell me if this sounds familiar, IU fans. Penn State's coach came from Iowa State. He brought 26 of his players with him. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah.
Good players. Penn State does not play Ohio State, Oregon, or IU this year.
Oh.
Yeah. So Penn State is my sleeper team. I think for the playoffs, it's a top-heavy situation where the top 6 or 8 teams are good and they're going to make it. But watch out for Penn State. That's my teaser. I really think they're going to be a good team this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Does that sound familiar?
The pros right here, man, Right. Okay. The program is going to be called Pigskin Plays and Props. We're going to drop it on August the 19th. That's a Wednesday. It's going to be fun. We don't take ourselves too serious.
No.
Kenny takes
I take my play.
Show, he'll take it
right. I take my play serious. Yes.
We're gonna come on and have some fun with you guys. And I hope you'll be able to join us. We just want to take a few minutes to sort of preview that and let you guys know that it was coming up, and we'll have some great sponsors with it we'll be telling you about as well. So Kenny, in the meantime, if people want to find you online, where can they find you?
I am on Facebook at Brits Picks, and I've just signed up on Winnable at Brits Picks, also on Winnable. You can sign up there and subscribe for absolutely free. And I am so looking forward to this show. I appreciate the opportunity. And like Rob said, we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to give out some winners and make people some money.
And we'll have some losers, too.
And we'll have some losers. Absolutely.
That's what we tell people. If we get one right, we don't need a thank you. If we get one wrong,
just zip it.
We don't want to hear it because anything can happen in sports betting. There are no guarantees. And
everybody has a bad week. I don't care what they tell you.
Some of us have a bad year. All right. Kenny, thank you, my friend.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
We'll take a break. We'll be back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show. Do you have a dog but don't have a fenced-in yard? Your HOA won't allow a fence? Worried about having to watch your furry friend anytime you go outside? Avoid the blazing hot summers and freezing cold winters with All-American Dog Fence. All-American Dog Fence is the cost-effective, easy-to-use in-ground fence system to keep your dog secure and give you peace of mind anytime they're outside. All-American Dog Fence backs their Pet Stop products with a lifetime warranty. Call or text All-American Dog Fence at 317-862-6606 or visit their website at allamericandogfence.com. Mention the Rob Kendall Show and get $200 off a new installation.
In Congress, I get all sorts of insider stock tips. Sure, I cashed in. It's my Beltway bonus. But now here comes Senator Todd Young with his total ban on congressional stock trades.
Freaking Mr. Clean Marine. Todd Young's got real guts taking us on. Young's gonna cost me millions.
Had enough of this? Contact Senator Todd Young to say thanks and let him know that you stand with his plan to ban stock trading for all members of Congress.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show, Hour 3, brought to you by John Russ. Thank you so much for joining us. That's going to be a lot of fun, that show we're going to do with Kenny. Pigskin plays and props. It's coming up here in just a few weeks, and we'll let you know each week when that show drops out for your listening enjoyment. We got a bunch of stuff to get to. Jason's got the best comments of the day of the YouTube chat. We got to talk about Bray stepping down as the head of the Senate. But first, Anthony Gary. He owns Indy Dwell Real Estate, and he doesn't just show houses. He finds you homes with everything you're looking for, explains your options, and gets you an offer accepted without you losing sleep or sanity. Anthony's an expert negotiator ready to help you achieve your real estate goals. Put Anthony's expert buying strategy and experience to work for you. Call or text Anthony Gary, Indy Dwell Real Estate, 317-756-1159. 317-756-1159. And again, thanks to all of our sponsors here on the Rob Kendall Show. We could not do this program without them. We certainly appreciate you, all the sponsors we've had over the 5 months we've been doing this. Look, guys, there is some cool stuff on the horizon here, and hopefully soon we'll be able to tell you about some of those things and where we're going and what we're doing. And it's thanks to you guys. This is just an unbelievable engagement that you guys have given this program for 5 months, and people all across a variety of industries have talked about what we've been able to do, what you guys have been made possible, and we're optimistic that that's going to lead to some good things here in the near future that we'll be able to tell you about. So thank you for that. If you haven't done so yet, give us that little thumbs up, like the show, whether you watch us live or on demand on YouTube. That little thumbs up, it certainly goes a long way helping us grow the Rob Kendall Show. Also, don't forget, in order to be a part of the YouTube chat, which is coming up here in just a little bit, best YouTube comments of the day, brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. All you got to do, you got to be a subscriber. So if you haven't done so yet, subscribe to the channel. If you're listening to us on Apple, on Spotify, on iHeart, we love you guys. Thank you for being a part of it with us. Make sure you subscribe to that platform as well and leave us that good review. All of those things, cash free, no money outlay, totally free of charge, helps us grow the Rob Kendall Show. All right, so this came down on Friday while we were on the air. Got into it a little bit, but didn't spend a lot of time on it. And so wanted to delve into it now while we have a few minutes. And that is that Rod Bray is stepping down as the head of the Senate at the end of the year. And Indiana Capitol Chronicle, amongst other news outlets, had a big article about this. And here's what they had to write. Here's what they had to say. Here's what they wrote. His announcement directly cited promises to recruit and fund primary challengers against senators who support his bid for another leadership term. Bray said he would not put members of his caucus at risk merely for backing him. So, of course, all of this centers around Bray not passing redistricting. Now, that's ridiculous. Of all the things you could blame Rod Bray for, and I'll get to that in a second, there are many, but the idea that he is to blame for redistricting not passing is ridiculous. Bray warned Braun from the beginning that the votes weren't there. It's my understanding they took an internal survey of the caucus. They coupled that with knowing all the Democrats, I believe there's 10 of them, were going to vote against. And he said, look, under the best case scenario, the math is not there. There's not the math to pass this redistricting. I mean, one of the narratives that has been spun out of the primary was that they were all these overwhelming wins for redistricting. They weren't. Look at the three races that Trump and the Turning Point people wanted most. Travis Holdman, Spencer Deary, Greg Good, where the majority of the resources and effort and passion went. Travis Holdman, Spencer Deary, Greg Good. What were the results? Holdman lost. Big. Good won big. Deary is winning. Still in a recount, but he's winning. So at best, I mean, the reality of it is no matter whether Deary wins or loses, it's going to come down to a handful of votes. So we're going to call that a tie, right? So you have one win, one loss, one tie. Those are the ones you wanted most, where you put the most amount of effort. A lot of incumbents went down, but it had nothing to do with redistricting. Greg Walker losing was not about redistricting. Michelle Davis did not win because of redistricting. She won because Greg Walker had been there forever. Greg Walker said he wasn't running again. Greg Walker his time had expired. People said it's time for something different. Michelle Davis, also a known quantity. Was a known quantity as a state rep. So she won. Jim Buck, same sort of thing. Hemmed and hawed about running again. He'd been there forever. People were unhappy. The guy he ran against had been running for a year before the redistricting stuff came up. He'd already had an established campaign. He was a good candidate. Those losses weren't about redistricting. There are some people who voted for redistricting. But redistricting wasn't this groundswell the Trump and Turning Point people wanted to be. It was a part of the equation, but so were property taxes. So were utility bills. So is the IEDC. So it's just generally, you've been here for 20, 30 years. We're done with you. All of those things played a part in the equation. Bray said, quote, serving as the pro tem of the Senate for 8 years has been among the most significant honors of my life, but it's time for the Senate to choose another leader. Look, whether you like Bray or you don't, 8 years is a long time. Because it is I say thankless job in the sense of there's immense power. There's prestige. I'm not saying feel sorry for these people, but it wears you out. You're continually dealing with crap. You're continually dealing with drama. Again, you know that signing up for it. You know that going in. But it is a stressful job. I never wanted to be in any sort of leadership when I was in the government. I was always content. I never tried to be the president. I never tried to run anything. I just was content to sit on the end, lob my grenades, say my piece, cast my votes, and skedoodle on out the door. Because it's a lot of stress to have to run the meetings and everything else. The only thing I ever did was I did run the redevelopment commission just because there were specific things I wanted to do. Nobody else on that board really had a lot of experience, especially with what I was trying to do. And so I said, I'm going to run this meeting. because I know how I want this to go down. And it's going to go down much more efficiently and in a more time-effective manner if I'm in charge of the meetings. I did do that. But other than that, nope, no leadership. It's stressful. It's stressful and it's thankless. Quote, he goes on to say, our caucus has led the way in numerous policy areas, including passing laws that resulted in more than 20 tax cuts, initial or health cuts, blah, blah, blah. That track record I'll always stand behind, and I'm incredibly proud to have accomplished this work as the pro tem alongside my distinguished colleagues. So basically what Bray said is, one, steal a quote from Danny Glover in Lethal Weapon. I'm getting too old for this expletive. He basically said, I've done this for 8 years. The party's changing. The priorities are changing. I don't need this job. I'll still be a senator. And I don't want a bunch of other people to potentially go down who I like working with because they have to cast a vote for me. So he's stepping out. Now, of course, Trump couldn't help himself. He had to respond about this because, you know, what with inflation, gas prices, Iran, all the stuff going on in the country, why wouldn't he take time away from that to tweet about the resignation of a state senator, not from his Senate seat, but just running the Senate? Quote, Roderick Bray should be ashamed of himself for costing our country, mainly the Republican Party, 2 U.S. House seats, and for costing all of his colleagues who went along with him an election loss. Isn't it amazing how politics works? I want to thank the great state of Indiana for your support, but also your support of getting rid of wayward senators led down the path of destruction by a fool, in all caps, named Roderick Bray. If only he spent that much time on lowering the price of food. If only, right? Let's talk about the real story here. Rod Bray is not going down because of 8 years of screwing you. He's going down because he didn't do what Trump wants. A lack of subserviency to one guy got people motivated to defeat Bray. Not the years of horrific public policy that have worked against taxpayers. Trump didn't come out against Bray because of property tax failure, screwing you. He didn't come out against Bray because of utility bills skyrocketing because of giveaways to the utility company, screwing you. He didn't come out because of giveaways to mega corporations taking taxes from you, raising taxes by $1 billion on you, screwing you. He didn't come out because of brazen corruption in the IEDC, screwing you. He didn't come out because of toll hikes, screwing you. He didn't come out because of the Medicaid debacle, screwing you. Like, none of that motivated Trump to take out Rod Bray. All of that would have been great reasons to take out Rod Bray. But yet, Trump or Jim Banks or Rokita or the rest of these people, they didn't come out to take out Rod Bray and get behind these senators until Trump demanded. And Trump didn't do it to help you. Trump did it to help himself. None of what was done in the primary was about helping you. It was about helping Trump. These senators have won this primary for 3 months now. May, June, July. Of the, 6 that won? Is there a coherent message from them, the 6 or 7, depending on which races you actually factor in, about what they're going to do about property taxes? Anyone? I mean, it's been 3 months. Is there a coherent message from them on how they're going to stop the utility monopolies from raising your prices into unaffordability? Anyone? Anyone? And the YouTube chat, if you've heard an answer, let me know. Yeah, Bueller. Any answer on the gas tax? Any answer on how they're going to fix our roads? Medicaid? IEDC? Any of it? The answer is no. Because their elections weren't about helping you. This is why I was always so against the redistricting. And I was like, look, if you want to vote these people out because they've been there forever, by all means, these people are no friends of mine. But you vote for these people knowing that the people you put in there are probably not going to change anything because the government isn't going to change and they're not motivated to do it. They weren't elected to do it. They were elected to be subservient to Trump. Now, Chris Garton, senator, has put his name in apparently this morning saying he wants to run the Senate now and everybody's elated about him. And to them, I say, yeah, he gave a great speech on redistricting. But the overwhelming majority of his votes were with Rod Bray. Chris Garton's voting record, there are some differences, but by and large, very similar to Rod Bray. He was the floor leader in the Senate. He was appointed by Bray to leadership. Why would you think a guy whose majority of votes are with Bray, who was appointed to leadership by Bray, because so many of these conservatives are like, oh, Garton, it's going to be great. Garton this and Garton that. And oh, my. Why? Why would you think that? What did Chris Garton do about property taxes? Did he die on the hill for you there? Nope. Utility bills, IEDC. He's been in lockstep with Bray on most of these things. Most, not all. So why would you think the result is going to be different just because there's a different name if his voting record is mostly the same and he was appointed by Bray to leadership? We'll see. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. Maybe Chris Garton will be the greatest conservative warrior the state has ever known. Maybe. I'm a big believer in history, though. The pattern of behavior is when you get away from the speeches or the look at me's or the put the camera on myself moments, the actual voting record, not that much different. Hey, you guys got a masonry color mismatch? Previous repair catching your eye? Not happy with the brick color in your home and ready for a total makeover? Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants offer specialized masonry staining and recoloring. Whether you want to seamlessly blend repairs or completely transform your home's exterior, you want to build something new? Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants have 40-year master masons. Design and construct custom patios, sidewalks, outdoor summer kitchens, archways, entryways, and more. Bramwell Mackay, BRAMWELLMCKAY, BramwellMackay.com. Beauty built to endure. And with that, I've done all I can do here today. It is time for you to take control of the show. The best YouTube comments of the day brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. Producer Jason, he monitors the chat throughout the show, and then he picks the best comments of the day, which he reads back to me, which sparks further conversation about topics we've talked about today. Jason, hello.
Hello, Rob. Yes, this chat brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. As always, if your water heater, water softener, well pump goes out, even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. I called John over the weekend. He's going to come out and see me. Black Sheep Plumbing can do the job right at a fraction of the cost of the big guys. That's what I'm really hoping for. And Black Sheep Plumbing says thank you to all military, firefighters, and police officers with an American Heroes discount. Call or text John McKinney, Black Sheep Plumbing, for all your needs today, and speak directly with John, the owner, 765-315-7558. I even remembered the number as I was driving. I punched it in because what a crack memory I've got. I've only been reading this for 6 months. 765-315-7558. A lot of fives in there. That's what I remembered.
And double whammy, I called John as well. I was unable to get my dishwasher drain working properly. He's going to come out and look at it. I told him.
People wanted to know.
Well, we tried some stuff. It didn't work. I said, I got to call a pro. I told him, I was like, don't worry about rushing out. I can wash dishes by hand. It's not an emergency, right? It's not the toilet flooding or whatever, right? It was like, my dad, when we couldn't get it fixed, he looks at me and he goes, you know, your grandmother washed dishes by hand until 1972. You don't need a dishwasher.
Did he say, what's wrong with your wife? I bet he didn't, did he?
Hey, speaking of John McKinney and Black Sheep Plumbing, you know, he's one of our biggest supporters. And he said that this month, for August, if you go to the robkendallshow.com and you hit the support button and you support our show, you know, when you support the show, I send you a thank you email thanking you for supporting the show. Got 3 of them out on Sunday. If you show him, if you need Black Sheep Plumbing, he's going to double whatever you gave to the Rob Kendall Show. It's like there's a max $100 limit. But if you gave $100 and let's say you needed a new toilet installed and you hire John to do it, he's going to take $200 off your bill. You just got to show him the thank you thing that so if you've been thinking about, hey, I support the Rob Kendall Show, if you time it up right and you need plumbing work and you've been thinking about supporting our show, you could actually come out way ahead on this. So whatever you give, John's going to double it in credit with him up to whatever you gave as a show support of the Rob Kendall Show.
Heck of a deal.
That's an amazing deal.
Heck of a deal. All right, so we opened up the chat on Friday at 6 o'clock. I wanted to see what happened, and it was an entire weekend. No matter when you checked in on the chat, people were chatting. That's pretty amazing.
That's awesome.
Yes, it was. And so we if you're bored over the weekend, 6 p.m. on Fridays, you can go to the Rob Kendall Show chat and chat with your friends and family and invite fans and friendly.
Also chat with people that aren't your friends or family.
That's what I was trying to say, friends and family. Yes, sir. Mondays are always kind of tongue-tied. You know, I don't speak.
Well, you had a rough weekend.
I don't speak over the weekend. I don't talk. I just I don't speak.
Just sit in silence.
And then when I come in on Mondays, I can't talk. All right.
You don't practice?
I sit and watch Netflix. I would say and chill, but I'm by myself, so I just watch Netflix. All right, so there were a lot of points. We're going to have, I haven't checked the points today on purpose because I can't guarantee. My guess is we may have hit 3,000.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. Maybe I'm way off. I don't know, but that's a possibility.
Now,
it can only be accomplished over a weekend, though.
Real quick, just a reminder.
Mm-hmm.
There's hundreds of Rob Kendall Show fans in the YouTube chat at various times throughout the week.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do to be a chatter is subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. And then you're in.
That's right. All right.
So subscribe.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Now, the other issue was I was being a Monday morning, had a bunch of stuff to do, had to scurry around the studio here and clean things up and get everything ready. And then I was kind of taking a break while Rob was on the air there, and I kind of forgot.
Slacking.
Well, yeah, you could say that. But I don't want to accuse you of slacking. Oh, you meant me. Okay, sorry.
Yes, I meant you.
Okay, that would be wrong. But I forgot that on the chat, it kind of it doesn't disappear completely, but on the tablet, because we have so many chatters and so much conversation going,
right?
It only probably gives a couple hundred comments or something. So by the time I got to it and started to screenshot, I think we were halfway through the show already, so I didn't get the first part of the of the show.
Right.
All the introductions and all that. The great shirt you have, and congratulations to Mom Kendall for picking it out and pressing it so nicely and all that. So I don't know what I missed, but technically I didn't get in until we talked about the Bernie Sanders piece, which would have been about halfway through the show, something like that. So
this is the second half of the YouTube comments.
Just wanted to set that up. So if you had some zingers and some great one-liners in the beginning, sorry guys, they're all off into the ozone, but you can go back and check it after the show gets posted. All right, so I'm starting with Steve Green, whose first comment
with an E.
With an E. Oh, I almost.
Who hit the support button?
He wouldn't have known who we were talking about had I not.
Weekend.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve Green, with an E.
Oh, he did. He supported us. He sent us some cash.
He did.
Oh, awesome. We appreciate that. Well, then very appropriate to start with him and his first comment. I can't stand to hear Bernie Sanders' voice. That's echoed by quite a few people, like Spray Jockey. I can't believe Bernie is a senator.
He's a caricature, right? Like
He really is, yeah. I mean, both in voice and in personality.
Yeah, he's like a cartoon character.
Yeah. Spray Jockey, how do we get term limits for all of these idiots? Well, the idiots would have to vote for term limits, which is limiting their income and their hold over America. So that's never, ever, ever going to happen.
No, it's not happening.
One of the big flaws of our founding fathers. All right. Steve Green with an E. There will never be a deal with Iran, and Vic owes me a beer.
Did they have a bet?
Vic must have been like me in the beginning and had false hope that Trump knew what he was doing and wouldn't look like a fool. And, it is. You talk about a cartoon character. I mean, this whole Iran thing of, well, we made a deal. They want to make a deal. No, you want to make a deal because you know you're going to lose the midterms and you're going to get impeached. And if they win the Senate, you're out. And JD will be our new president. That's who wants to make a deal. We see right through that. And I, as you know, was a very, very, very big proponent of Donald Trump. And now I'm like, man, you screwed the pooch.
What happens every time we get in the Middle East? Like, I don't know why anybody would think it would ever be any different.
Now, hopefully he'll prove me wrong. Maybe he'll end this in 2 weeks. Gas prices will go back down, $2.19 a gallon.
Boy, people are going to freak out. August the 6th, I think, is the last day, right, of the gas tax being suspended. People are going to freak out when they see those prices hot back up.
Mm-hmm. All right, Don B. People just need to refuse to vote for any third terms. People are puppets, and they're just conditioned. You're going to vote. Again, you're not going to vote for a Democrat because you're Republican. You're not going to vote for a Republican because you're a Democrat, so you'll just vote for that person third term, fourth term, fifth term, sixth term. Do like me and just vote against them in the primary. Often doesn't really work, but if everybody joined me and just voted every incumbent out, then you'd have term limits. That's the way. You're still able to vote for your party. You vote in the midterm. I'm sorry, not in the midterm. You vote in the primary in your party against your incumbent, and then you've still got a candidate you can vote for against a Democrat or against a Republican in the general. I don't see any flaws with that. Do you, Rob?
No, I mean, majority of my ballot gets left blank every year. So
all right. Well, there you go.
I believe in voting, but votes earned. They're not given.
Yep. Okay. Chris Chafin. Trump has said we have won the war already multiple times. Then it starts all over again.
That's right.
Yeah. I'd say by Tuesday we'll be we're gonna bomb them.
Yeah.
Somebody wanted to hear you do the Trump voice again.
Hey, it's got to be organic. Can't do it on demand.
Think. Start organizing.
Start organizing.
Ethan Hatcher, quote unquote, finishing them would involve bombing schools and civilized population centers. I don't think we'd be prepared for the blowback over war crimes.
No, I
don't think you have to bomb the schools.
Well, they're going to
hospitals.
Well,
I mean,
that's what they do, though. They hide.
Okay,
that's what the
explain
Hamas
to me in
guys
like
do.
30 seconds, which I know is impossible for you, Rob. But explain to me in a nutshell what this nuclear dust is that's sitting under the concrete that they keep threatening to blow. Why can't they just take that out? Why are they not?
Because it's so deep. Like they've got it so far underground that those bunker busters and stuff can't. I also don't think they know exactly where it's at. I think.
So we can't bomb it out, but the Iranians can still dig it out.
Well, look, I'm not an expert on Iranian soil. I don't know exactly how it is. Apparently, they don't either because they can't get to it. My point is this: how did you not know this was going to happen from the beginning? And if you weren't prepared, see, I thought when they started, like, all right, he's going to take it out, right? Where he is going to turn it into a parking lot. And if you didn't have the stones to do that, why did you even start? This is exactly how
the people of Iran are a little different than the people of Afghanistan, where they're raised, in the hate and that sort of very uneducated type of people. Iranians are very educated. But and a lot of people point, why aren't we like dropping weapons to these people? I guess then you're arming the Iranian population. But I mean, you would find out very quickly whether the citizens and civilians are against their government or if they support their government. If they are armed and do not uprise like we did in the United States against England, then you would find out that, okay, all of the citizens are for and with their government, therefore they are the enemy too.
I think we did that in Afghanistan in the 80s. How did that work out?
Well, but I think you find out what happens, and then that opens the door for the parking lot type of thing, I think.
Look, the whole thing's stupid.
Yeah,
I mean, can we agree?
Yeah.
That
it was his tear down that wall moment that is not going to materialize.
I think he got sold a bill of goods, and it rests on him because
And I don't think it was Israel that sold him the bill of goods like everybody else says, and I know a lot of people will go against me on that. I think he used Israel as like, okay, you guys are ready to fight, right? You want this to happen, right? If we go ahead and flip this switch, you're going to go balls out and do most of the damage for us, right? Oh, yeah, we're right there for you, Mr. President. And, Hegseth and them was like, yeah, we can get this out of here in 2-3 weeks. We got Israel to help us, and you can be Ronald Reagan tear down that wall moment.
Yeah.
And I think he just
never works out.
Nope. Should have saw that one coming. All right. Steve Green with an E. Vaccines. Now we're on the vaccines. Oh, let's back up here. Let's back up to Mad Duck. This says trying to turn a common childhood affliction into a plague is ridiculous. Speaking of JF or RFK Jr.
Going back and forth with Dana Bash. Yeah.
So, okay. Steve Green with an E then adds, vaccine. Anyone who believes that vaccine was effective is delusional. He's talking about COVID vaccine. Just smack that broad with a white glove. Okay. Probably wouldn't want to do that. Mad Duck, theater for the people that think their TVs tell them the truth. All right. Okay. Here, Kevin Branham, RK Jr., Robert Kennedy Jr., is pretty good at his job. A lot of people would disagree with that, but
well, it was great how he just told her, it's like, you people were the misinformation police, or at very much you were just wrong about all this stuff.
And it was fine to have the opinion that masks work and vaccines work, but to demonize everybody else and call us all killers that said, look, that handkerchief on that guy's face there next to me in Walmart is not stopping the plague. I mean, It's not stopping anything other than I can still smell his bad breath. I mean, okay, bad breath can get through it, but COVID can't get in it. So there we go.
Ludicrous.
Yeah, great artist. MLM Warriors. Tina said, thank you to all Rob Kendall Show listeners. Tina would be Double D's barbecue.
Yeah, they're like I said, they were flooded. A lot of people saw that, were very concerned. I talked to Tina on Sunday, and she said, it's fine. We're going to be open for regular business. We were able to
Yeah, they had the little flood issue there.
Yeah, mitigate, but they're good to go. So if you want us to go out and support them, it'd be a great week to do that.
Mm-hmm. Josh Richardson, Tina, such a nice person. Everyone go see her at Double D's. Debbie Holcomb, so glad Double D's. Oh, no, she didn't say that. She said, so happy Double D's is okay. That's what she said. Robert Schwartz at T. Heller. Fair. I'm not sure what the comment was, but not convinced that after what Iran has been through due to our policies, that giving them weapons will turn things in our favor. So I believe Tom must have. Did I miss that? I believe Tom probably echoed what I said, which was, give them weapons and let them take out their own government. So, okay.
I think we should just mind our own business.
Yeah, we should have never went in. He should have, at the very least, he should have waited till after the midterms. And then he could have just sailed right into that last couple of years. If he fails, whatever, he's out. He's a lame duck anyway after the midterms, and now he'll be even worse. Debbie Holcomb, finally, the NFL. Dun, dun, dun. Drew, picnic basket. All right. Josh Richardson, all you need is a set of eyes to see what they are trying to and are succeeding at taking over in some cities. This would be was it not the Indians, the
Sikhs.
The Sikhs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, look, I mean, the assimilation thing is a real issue. We're going to get into this with Indy Reporter on tomorrow's show about you come to this country.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for legal immigration,
mm-hmm.
but then you are an American. And the idea that these people, and even put
they're not Americans.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you are an American.
They didn't take the pledge. They ran across the water.
I mean, the
okay. I'm sorry. Didn't you have a segment? I'm sorry. Earlier you had a segment about immigration.
Well, yeah, right. But I'm saying, like in the case of these,
let's go back to the Sikhs.
The Sikhs,
mm-hmm.
They've come here legally. Most of them. They're in communities now, and whether they're here temporarily or they're here permanently, when you're posting signs, like literal signs around communities about a referendum related to India
mm-hmm.
and Indian territories, and you're delaying traffic and you're flying your signs and you're speaking in a foreign language,
mm-hmm.
you're telling people, we are not interested in assimilation. We want the riches. We want the benefit of being here. But we don't really give a damn about the cultures and traditions of you people. We're going to make you like us. And that scares the hell out of people, and it should.
Yeah, and basically taking over entire neighborhoods or buying land to put your houses. I mean, that's very cult-like. And seems like there'd be...
Well, this story kind of died out.
It's like if I went in to try to buy a house in that neighborhood, are they going to do that whole thing they used to do with minorities and be like, well, we don't have any available? Or, I mean, how do they keep you from purchasing? And they are keeping people from purchasing. So it seems like that should be a thing.
Well, there was and this story's died out, and I'll have to ask Indy Reporter about this.
Mm-hmm.
There was literally, I think it was in Greenwood, there was a Sikh community. Jacob Stewart from The Star was reporting on it.
Mm-hmm.
About, it literally said on the sign for the development, Sikh community.
That's what I'm saying.
What are we doing?
Yeah. It's like, are you saying this is a Sikh community, so, as an average white guy, you don't want to move in here or a minority or whatever unless you're Sikh.
Right.
If it says that on the sign, you're like, well, wait a minute. That again, I don't believe should be legal, but, I'm no politician. All right.
You should be.
I should be. Yes. I have the credentials. I have the background for it. Josh Richardson, all you need is a set of eyes to see that they are. Did I just read that one? Yes, I did. Steve Green with an E. And they were let in anyway. Again, that's the immigration thing. Don B., is it supposed to garner support from us? I'm losing all track of content here. So I think we were back on the immigration thing. Because you're speaking the truth, they say.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, because they don't want to be a part of us, yet they told us, well, whatever. Okay. Sorry. I need to make notes on these. I was trying to scramble through it because I'd missed the first half of it. Now we're talking about something we all understand. Micah Beckwith.
Oh, jeez.
Sue Seifert. Micah is hooked with that sinking ship TP USA. He has an ego that he ought to get under control, but that little voice with the tail and horns appears to be gaining his confidence.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm loath to give him any attention because that's what he craves. He doesn't want to help people. But I thought it was important. I mean, the statement is so egregious. I'm calling on our county prosecutors to prosecute Fauci that one of the prosecutors gets badgered to the point he's got to put out a statement and go, we don't have the ability to prosecute Fauci. moron. He didn't say moron, but I mean, it's just grossly irresponsible in his official capacity as lieutenant governor to say that, which means either he's such a dumbass, he doesn't even know the law, or he just doesn't give a damn and he just wants attention to the point where he doesn't care who he disrupts or who he causes harm to.
Robert Schwartz, but have never heard Jim Banks or Todd Rokita say anything in regards to Micah Beckwith negatively.
No. And this is the one that I can't figure out is Braun. Why Braun puts up with it. Because Braun is totally subservient to Beckwith. And I think it's because he thinks the Turning Point USA people are like, have the Midas touch or his ticket to re-election. And it's like, your ticket to re-election is whether Rokita or Banks decide they want to run against you, man. You're going squish if those guys get involved.
And to repeat you, Rob, Steve Greenwood-Nee says, all publicity is good publicity in Beckwith's mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He does not care about being an elected official. He never did care about being an elected official. He only cares about garnering attention for himself and his next career move. And that's what he does with these things. That's why it's never about nuts and bolts issues that actually affect your life. You notice the conversations are never about those things. They're always about these fringe issues because he gets a bunch of attention out of it.
Here's one, Chris Chafin. I can hear the campaign commercials now for Jason, from strip clubs to the Statehouse. Well, let me tell you, Chris, when I was working in the strip clubs, there were at one point numerous politicians, many prominent business folks. I would call Rob up and like, you're not going to believe who's getting a lap dance from Tatiana. She's banking back there. Yeah, it's. I mean, there was a time where it was very accepted to be a business guy and have business meetings. That's why they used to have the steak buffets and all that stuff at PTs. And
remember at it's the one downtown.
That would be the Garter.
The Red Garter.
Right.
Remember they came in and were on the air with us one day, and they named a burger after Daisy from the Chicks, and they were going to have me as their guest DJ, and then COVID happened, and then I just never.
Didn't make it.
I mean, yeah, but it was, but that used to be a very well-known thing in Indianapolis, that one of the best lunches in town was the lunch at the Red Garter. Like, it was an actual thing. Terry Stacy and I talked about that one time. She's like, yeah, people used to go down there all the time for lunch at the Red Garter.
But it was, again, when Obama popped in, or with the recession in 2009, that then they started doxing all those businesses that were, and CEOs that were in Vegas, living it up while everybody else was going through a recession. And so they started shaming them, and that went all the way down to the strip clubs and entertainment. So businesses started not, allowing them to turn receipts in and things like that. So, and then that really killed a lot of the clubs, killed off a lot of the business. All right. C-Mills, absolutely nothing will happen to Fauci. I don't know why people even bring it up anymore.
That's right.
Well, he was on in front of Congress, which is why they would be bringing it up.
Yeah, but he's right. Nothing will happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It doesn't matter. I mean, he's got a whole confession book, and that's his personal thing, though. Okay, but we saw it, just like Biden's daughter's diary. We saw it. Well, but it was her personal opinion, and we saw it. Okay. Anyway, Chris Chapin, thank you, John Rust.
Yeah, thank you.
Made it to the third hour.
Thank you.
Josh Richardson, thank you, John Rust. Chris Chafin, Rob's car has to be in the car show. Tell him, producer Jason, what would we categorize your car in the car show? It's not a junk.
Junk.
Okay, there we go.
Last place.
It'd be one car in the whole category. Rob wins first prize. Okay.
People see that car, they think it's a joke, and then they see it and they're like, oh my gosh.
I want to tell Rob, you pull up in business meetings and that? I don't go to business meetings. I do Zoom.
That's right.
All right. Debbie Holcomb, can't wait until October 3rd. Thank you, John Rust. She's looking forward to my birthday.
Rustforamerica@gmail.com, RSVP. Come hang out with us. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah. Charles Ludy, for the 10th time, what's the deadline to RSVP for Rust event?
Dude,
I heard there will be beer.
Can you give him a month's notice? Like, it's
okay,
September 3rd?
Charles, here's what we're going to do. You go ahead and send in that RSVP right now, and if you can't make it, I'll eat the food that was ordered
Bingo.
for you.
There you go.
So nobody loses. We know you want to be there, and if you can't be, it would be unfortunate because we want to see you there. Go ahead and send that RSVP to, what's the email address?
rustforamerica@gmail.com.
rustforamerica@gmail.com, and hook me up with your food, Charles, if you can't be there. All right. C-Mills, just show up to the John Rust event so you can see me. I'm a bigger deal than Rob.
Perfect. Agreed.
C-Mills, he's getting quite the big head,
Yes.
isn't he?
C-Mills, we'll let you
Yes.
give the speech, C-Mills.
Yes, that's fine.
It's going to be like Steve Buscemi in The Wedding Singer.
All right. Debbie Holcomb, get your reservation in. The 0601 O board, more oil guy.
Yeah, we love Bill.
Spelled it MOAR. I wonder if that was on purpose.
Oh, I see what he did there.
Okay.
Yeah, Bill Herrick's awesome.
Yep. All right, Christy Avery, thanks for our 3 sponsor, John Rust. Looking forward to the party in October.
Christy is awesome. She's always a party when she's there, so the fact that she's going tells me it's going to be a great time.
All right, let's see. MLM Warriors, Rust for America. Debbie Holcomb, I am looking forward to Jason's birthday. Yes. I don't usually look forward to birthdays. Once you hit a certain age, it's like,
you will this one, though.
Another one. Yep, Christy Avery, we gave that one. Yeah, she said she's looking forward to the party. Debbie Holcomb, women love football, too.
That's right.
Yep. Do you bet on it, Deb?
Pigskin plays and props comes your way starting August 19th.
All right, Drew, how the heck did these folks get so many XP points? Is there a cheat code? You got to start on 6 o'clock on Friday for the weekend chat, and that's how you get your points. And again, you got to comment 3 times every hour, and that's how you get points. But we don't want you doing like 1, 2, 3, or I'm here to get my points type of chat.
You got to participate.
And if you can't, just come up with a question for Rob.
Yeah.
And then I'll check those, and I'll try to be more diligent in these and get the questions.
Time for you to give us the points.
All right, let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, let me make sure. Spray Jockey. He talked with Blythe Potter this weekend. I think her husband might come on the show.
Oh, how exciting.
Okay, well. We'll have to invite him.
Yes.
First. All right.
I'm sure her husband is a fine guy. He's not Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
It's not like automatically assumed you'll be on the show.
Right. Steve Green with an E. I can't afford NFL tickets. Rob and Jason get all my entertainment money.
That's right.
Yes.
Steve Green making a wise investment.
Yep. Okay, Drew, when will Indy Reporter be on the show?
Tomorrow.
There you go.
Assuming he shows up today.
Perfect timing. That's right. He'll be knocking on the door here any moment. Chris Chafin, do a Trump impersonation, Rob. Come on, get us out of here with a Trump impersonation.
It's so sad what's going on in Iran. I can't believe I made the choice. Really stupid. Tad's gonna be sad.
Tad, awesome. All right, so the points for the chat. Okay, we start. Somebody said we should go number 11 because all the other people cheated and started at 6 o'clock on Friday.
Oh.
They didn't cheat. They just knew how to take advantage
Played
of
by the rules.
system.
Yeah.
That's right. They played
It's like the
within
tax
the
code.
rules.
Taking a deduction that's legal is not cheating.
That's right. Because at number 12, we're starting at number 12 today because it's at Producer Jason.
Oh, congratulations.
I popped in and had some conversation there just to rack up my points. 275 points.
Wow.
That was very weak, though, compared to everybody else. Steve Green right there above me with 300 points at number 11. We get to number 10, Bartelt Farms.
Oh, yeah.
Tom's going to be in here Wednesday. We'll have that conversation Thursday.
That's right.
Right here, talking about brawn and how the love that everybody in Du Bois County has for for their beloved son. Okay. Bartelt Farms, number 10, with 1,050 points.
Damn.
Yeah. Number 9, Debbie Holcomb, 1,125. Number 8, Kevin Branham, 1225. Number 7, Spray Jockey, 1225. Number 6, MLM Warriors, 1650. He was going a little light because he wanted everybody else to enjoy enjoy it.
It's like a secretariat used to hang back.
Yeah.
Horses think they were going to win.
Right. And everybody else appreciated that, I'm sure. Number 5, Chris Chafin, 2,000 points.
Wow.
Yeah. Number 4, Rock Laws, 2,050 points. Number 3, Rusted Bolt Garage, 2,650 points. That's a lot of chatting. Number 2, Josh Richardson, 3,125 points. And number 1, I believe he was the first one in the chat on Friday after I posted it. Number 1, Driver with 3,200 points. So that's our new top mark there, 3,200. You're not going to be able to crack that other than a weekend, because it takes 3 days easily to get that. So congratulations to everybody. Thanks for being in the chat. We always love that. Brought to you by John McKinney, our fabulous plumber. And that's going to do it for me. And we'll see you tomorrow. So long, everybody.
All righty. You guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you to Black Sheep Plumbing sponsoring the chat. And thanks to John Russ for Hour 3. And thanks to all of our fabulous sponsors. You guys take care of yourselves. And we will see you right back here tomorrow, 9 until noon. For producer Jason, I'm Rob Kendall. You've been watching, been listening to Rob Kendall Show.